Going on, everybody? Welcome to Thrifty's Gaming News Podcast, better known as The Playground. We have the real Innate here, one of my colleagues back on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. We have, and you're also on another podcast, I think. We will have Will here in just a few minutes. And yeah, want to give some time for everybody, including myself, to share this out, get it sent to all the social media places. This will be the time where I kind of go silent for about a minute or two, and then I come back. If you're watching this after, like I know a lot of y'all do, please go ahead and just fast forward about 60 seconds or until you hear somebody talking. Easiest way to do that. Also, if you are new to the channel, maybe you're catching this afterwards, I do a live show here every week. I do other videos, trying to at least get on a monthly schedule with those, but I do have other videos that I'm working on and going to get those up. If you like what you hear, or if you like what you hear, hit that like button, subscribe. If you don't like what you hear, still hit that like button. It's free. It means absolutely nothing to you, and rub it in my face. Use spite to do it and hit that like button. And I will be right back.
Okay, there we go. You can hear me?
Okay, Innate, yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay.
So, man, what are you been playing right now?
Uh, honestly, went back to Persona 5 Royale actually. So of course I have the platinum for it on the PS4 version. Um, and I got the physical of the PS5 version on sale a while back for about 25 bucks, so I picked it up. And my friend was playing, and she got really far in the PS4 version, and was like, it's been a while, like months since she's touched it. So she started it just to see if she could remember where she was, and she's like, I don't remember anything. So I was like, all right, so if you get the PS5 version, I was like, I'll restart it with you. And so we couldn't really find it. So since I have it physical, and I had my nephew was borrowing it at the time, we went halvesies and just got it randomly so she could play right now. So then we're both just playing off of one account. Um, and going through that on PS5. So there's that, and then I'm also playing Super Robot Wars 5, which is not available in the United States. Uh, it is you have to get it from Singapore if you want to play it in English. So a long time ago, I made a Singapore account, and I just use PlayAsia to buy cards, PSN cards for over there, and I keep a few things on my friends list that you can't get over here. And then I buy PSN cards for that one, and then I can play it on my innate account over here. So that was on sale recently, so I picked that up. Um, I'm playing that, uh, and then Persona 4 Golden, so that as well. Um, I've been all over the place, man, and I recently went back to Midnight Suns, so which has been awesome. So yeah, I mean I'm all over the place.
That's awesome, dude. You're you're playing more games in a month than, or in currently right now, than I was able to beat. I think over the last 3 months of last year. So like, Lord help, dude.
Yeah, man, it's
Um,
it's nuts.
I turned your mic up. We're gonna see if that helped. They said they couldn't hear you that well.
I mean, I can adjust it on my end too, so that's fine.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, because I think if I adjust it much more, it's gonna cause that reverb crap again.
Yeah, I'll
So I'll just pull you down a little bit. So real quick,
microphone level. Oh, I see why.
Before Will
Okay,
gets
that
on,
should be better.
hey, that is better. Holy crap! Hello. Uh, I really just want to clear something up. Maybe the guys here watching the video, somebody commented on one of my reviews. It is echoing really bad. Somebody commented on one of my reviews,
Hmm.
and I just wanted to say I was doing a review of a isometric game, Achilles, and he proceeded to tell me, he goes, it's not top down because I use those terms interchangeably. He goes, it's not top down, it's isometric. And so just in case you're here, just in case you're listening, let me let me help you with your pretentiousness. Isometric games are ones where you have basically a static view of your character. It's not top down since the camera angle isn't straight up, but it's basically top down that you're not looking ahead of your character but all around. So I'd say in that one we're both right. It's just a game. Have fun with that though. But anyways, that comment just struck me as funny. So I was like, God man, people are pretentious. It's not top down, it's isometric. Hmm. Okay. But it's, it was just, dude, it was a lot, man. I saw that comment and I was like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. But
I
as
mean, I
for
get
the,
it. People are particular, so I get it.
like, what, but
I mean,
like,
I wouldn't have corrected you, but I mean, I know it's isometric, but I wouldn't care.
well, it's the same. I feel like that's the same crowd in like the anime sector that would look at me and go, Dragon Ball Z is not anime. What? Like,
Yeah,
it's
whoever said
that
that is crazy. Whoever said that is crazy. The only thing that I say is that if all you watch is Dragon Ball Z, you're not really an anime fan. You're a Dragon Ball Z fan.
that now that I'll give you. That I'll
Yeah.
give you. My only experience with anime is Dragon Ball Z. Sailor Moon, I think, is considered anime.
Yeah, it
Uh,
is.
the Ronin Warriors, which is a fantastic show. So fun. Matter of fact, when I turned 9 years old, I tried to jump off the couch and call out my powers to see if the armor would come on me. And I still remember that to this day. Like,
Nice.
I freaking loved the Ronin Warriors when I was a kid. Uh, Josh is co-signing for me. He's saying it is. So, guys, tonight, let's get to why you're here. You're here because of the title. You're here because I have negativity in the title about Xbox, or I'm raising questions about Xbox. I have to edit that. Actually, there's supposed to be a question mark in the title, but and then you also see that Hellblade 2 is a 90, well, in the 90s. So we will be talking about those topics tonight. We're also going to try to hit some other stuff. When Will gets here, we will. He had a topic that he wanted to bring up, and that's actually where the PlayStation fan outrage is going to be coming in. He kind of has one position on it. I kind of have another. Uh, and so that'll be super fun. And then to get a Nate's opinion on that. And then outside of that, guys, what are some things that y'all have been playing? We do like to interact with the chat here a lot. So, what are some things that y'all have been playing? And while y'all are typing that, I've been playing Ease 9. I actually have a game, a thrifty game of the month. It's a 5.99 game. It's Katana Kami. I played like an hour, hour and a half of it, and it's decent. I can't do a review on it yet because I have spent 20 hours in Ease 9 in like a week because the game is freaking good. And so, like, that's probably going to be my next reviewed game, or the next video that comes out after the Diablo 2 one gets finished and cut and uploaded. But uh, yeah, so that's why y'all haven't heard much from me on that. I know I put it in the Discord. Also, guys, we have a Discord. Ryan, what's up, man? Warawana, Josh, appreciate y'all being here. Outsider Gaming Night. It's time to get thrifty. That's right, man. That's right. Uh, but yeah, so I've been playing a lot of that lately. I see Final Fantasy VII Remake. Uh, Staleblade 2 is a 70.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of Final Fantasy VII Remake as people either beat it too
Mm,
long ago that they want to refresh, or people who haven't finished it like myself.
dude, I just beat the intermission because every time I
Nice.
tried to get into it, there was another game that came out and another game that came out and then another one, and so I never got around to it. I think I played the intro of intermission like 6 times before I finally stuck with it, and that that whole thing is. a roller coaster ride of zany, emotional bullcrap. Like the whole thing. It feels
Yeah.
wacky as heck, but there's an emotional tie in there that's like, man, only Final Fantasy can do that. Like, and by that I mean like the stories we know, 7, 8, 9, 10, like all of those are what they're good at. Lighthearted, but yet always this very serious underlying thread. Did I like the minigame? Yes, Wara, I freaking loved the minigame. I I love what they did with it. I love that uh, they made it better, dude. They honestly I've said this before, and I think I've told Innate this. Every mini game that they have in Final Fantasy VII through Final Fantasy X, so give me Blitzball also, I think needs to be on its own disc. Like there needs to be just a way to download those and play those. If you want to go ice skating, or not ice skating, snowboarding as Clouds, you can. If you want to play Blitzball with the Besaid Oryx, you can. Like, if you want to play Triple Triad, you can do that. Like, such good mini games.
No, I
And
agree. They've made some amazing ones.
well, so, dude, I think they did too. Warawana saying Blitzball wasn't his jam, but the trick with Blitzball was is you just found the players with the fastest or the highest speed, and you outran everybody. That was it. So like after your first season, you were in there, and I've spent hours playing Blitzball. Um, okay, so one of the quick things that I wanted to mention that I thought I was going to have to cut, but Tetsuya, why can't I say these names when I'm on the air?
Tetsuya Nomura.
Tetsuya Nomura, thank you. Good lord. Wanted to remake Final Fantasy VII, and when he did, he's done some interviews now in promotion for the product coming out, and this is from Games Radar. And what he had said about it was, if we weren't going to do Final Fantasy VII, others were going to do it, so we had to rise up and do it. And I know that I get some criticism from a few people that I'm like a Square Enix like nut hugger, and that's just true. But I will say I am so freaking excited about the passion and just in that little statement. Like we knew that we had to rise up and do it because if we weren't going to, somebody else was. Like, Nate and I were kind of talking in the like pre-show, pre-game, whatever. And Nate, what did you say that it was like? It was go ahead.
You mean the him creating it beforehand?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, just that you want like him wanting to create it before so no one else his legacy basically. Um Leaving behind his legacy, if that's the last thing that he makes or one of the last things that he makes, you don't want someone else to mess it up. Just in that regard. That
Man,
were you something else?
no, that was totally it. Like that
Okay, yeah.
that's just it's awesome to see that the franchise is cared so much about, especially within Square Enix and within that team that's like, hey, listen, this is ours. It's going to get remade. It's been rumored at and talked about for years. It's been asked for years. We need to go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And if we don't do it now, when we have the opportunity, then somebody may screw it up in the future.
Well,
Like,
exactly, Rhyme. A proper Parasite Eve remake. Thank you. Yeah, that's a definite.
so, did you? I don't know if you've been in the chat at all or listened to any of the shows, but did you hear when I was I'm still super excited for Stellar Blade, but what made me excited about it was I saw that it was called Project Eve, and I thought we were getting another Parasite Eve, and
Yeah, I
that
thought that too. I thought that too.
What's up, Byron Cutler, man? How you doing? That's like, I swear to goodness, I about came out of my seat when I saw that, and I was like, "We're getting another one." And then and then I'm hearing about this game, Stellar Blade, and I think it was Josh that like corrected me a few months ago. I was like, "Nah, man, it's not in the vein of Parasite Eve. It's something totally different." I was like, "Well, shit, they they called it Project Eve. You can't do that to me." It's
Yep,
like if Insomniac starts, or not Insomniac, Sucker Punch starts working on something calling it Project Infamous, um, I'm gonna assume I'm getting an Infamous 3. I, I just am.
agreed.
So you can't call it Project Eve and not give me the damn game. But all right, we are going to go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and start with let's go ahead and just get one of the rumors out of the way. We have to do it. It's the new year, so we have to have a new state of play rumor. Um, Jeff Grubb, this is from Gaming Bolt. PlayStation State of Play is coming in the quote unquote next few weeks. Awesome. How much is a few? We don't know. Journalist Jeff Grubb claims Sony has a state of play presentation lined up for the near future, though he's unsure about its contents. 2024 is kicked off, and much like last year, Microsoft is going to be the first company to have a major event with its Xbox Developer Direct, which is set for January 18th. It's safe to assume that Sony and Nintendo also have plans in place. Blah, 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 rumor, 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 blah, blah, blah. It says it's in the next few weeks. Grubb also didn't have details to share on what the presentation will showcase, though he did point out that the State of Play showcase tends to have a spotty record in terms of how well they land, so there's a chance that this upcoming one ends up disappointing as well. Ouch! So, I don't read these beforehand, and I do that for a very specific reason. I like to interact with the article while I'm interacting with the chat and the panel.
Gotcha.
And so sometimes things strike me. But here's the deal. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Supposedly, we're going to get one in the next few weeks. That'll turn into, well, it didn't happen this month. Now it's happening in 2 weeks before. We've seen this crap before. What stuff, though, Innate, would you want to see? Or let's say this. Let's do both. What do you want to see? And what do you think we're going to see? that's that's the best way to do that.
Um, Man, a state of play this early. Uh, Honestly, I think given I like being realistic, updates on some of the live service games, regardless of how we feel about it, because it is a state of play. It also could be potentially the thing that's closer. I think what they like to do is a third party one, third party focus rather. So they've got a ton of content coming up that's about to release from third party, be it exclusives or otherwise. So I think a big focus on that for a state of play would be very easy. There's just a massive, massive ton of stuff coming. Um, so I think that's probably what we would see. What I would want is essentially what they would say for a showcase, which is, Sony Ben's, new game finally revealed, an announcement trailer, potentially with gameplay for Ghost of Tsushima 2, um, and you're finally seeing the new IP from Naughty Dog. I mean, like all these companies have been in the dark, so it's like pretty much I want to see everybody fire on all cylinders. I want to see them show up with the full clip and just let it go. Full roadmap, let's go. But yeah, like I said, there's so many of them that have been quiet. Potentially whatever. These I wouldn't expect because obviously Gorilla just did last year, just finished up some of the DLC, but obviously the rest of the team is on to some new things. So, maybe that's early enough to show. There's just that's more along the lines I was looking for as first party. Like I want to see what they're working on. That's why it's a big reason. I already know what's coming from third party, so them like reiterating it doesn't do anything for me. I know it's like more of a marketing thing, so it doesn't do anything for me. I already know I'm getting, Persona 3 Reload. I already know Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Rise of the Ronin, Dragon's Dogma. Like my list is already a mile long, so I don't really need to see that again, but I get it.
You don't need the hype built up for you. It's there.
Yeah, yeah, I'm already there. Yeah, I'm just, I just got to talk to a financial planner about how I'm supposed to do this.
Dude, it's so freaking bad right now. It's
It
so
really is.
terrible. Like,
That's a fact.
I'm sitting here. Will, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Oh, what's up, man? So, it's I have a hard time this year because if I'm not careful, I'm going to buy my 3 new games before we get to June.
Yeah, you're gonna have to extend that number there, buddy.
I'm telling you,
or
man, he's gonna have to figure something out.
Yeah, yeah.
or I'm gonna have to get real freaking creative. Like Helldivers 2, that's not a full price game.
Thrifty,
It's
let
Yeah.
me give you a fun fact. This is just doesn't have nothing to do with gaming, but in 19 maybe 1800s. I just saw this yesterday. History fact. There was this dude who was overweight, and he went on all these diets, and he couldn't do it. And then he decided to stop eating food. Now there were doctors present every day, and they gave him minerals and vitamins and everything he needed to sustain himself. But he didn't eat for a whole year, and he ended up losing like 280 pounds. And he was healthy. And after everything went to normal, he balanced out at about 190 pounds. So he went from about 300 some pounds to about 160, and once his body stabilized, he went to the 190, and he stayed that way till he died. Point is, you don't
Is
really
there
need
one?
to eat,
Oh,
so therefore you can buy more games. And we have a case study on how you don't need to eat.
do you know how much it would cost for those vitamins, minerals, and doctors, sir?
Yeah, I know. It's a fallacy.
so, um, so speaking of showcases and stuff and state of plays, Zuby Tech, shout out to Zuby Tech. I love this dude. He says there might be 2 showcases this year. And then somebody put on there, where did you hear this? And all he put was Zuby Tech sources. I love
Basically
Zuby
said,
Tech.
stop asking stupid questions.
That's just, I love that. That's funny. And then even TCMF was on there because that dude is like a freaking gopher digging up those freaking rumors and stuff, man. And he's even posted, "Where did you hear this?" like, he's like, "Wait, I didn't hear this. How did you hear this?"
Well,
I
something
do.
that Zuby is a master at doing, and I really like Zuby for this particular reason, is that he takes a look at absolutely everything. He looks at job posting. He looks at people that are leaving and coming, and financials and things that Sony as a company itself are doing, and how that relates to PlayStation. And he's able to give you, and that's not even including the sources that he may have on the side. But he's able to take all that information and really make an educated guess on what's coming up. Unlike some people that rely strictly on their sources and strictly on insiders, where I'm not saying Zuby doesn't have that stuff either. I don't know. But what I do know is he gathers up a lot of that information and he stays on top of it. And he takes the history of the console, the history of how things have been done, the way things have been done recently, and the things that Herman Holtz and people like that have told us that they're gonna do, and he ties that up together. And I'm not applying that to the whole two showcase thing, but for a lot of the things he speaks about, they end up coming true because he makes really educated analysis on what to expect. So I really, really like him for that because he looks at a lot of facts.
Yeah, I trust him a lot when it comes to his stuff, and I swear that man can find a graph for anything.
Yeah.
Like anything gaming related. You want the sales numbers of the games in 1994 on PlayStation or on Super Nintendo during the months of February through March. Like, dude can get those for you. He'll have a graph, he'll have it pictured, have an article with it, and I'm like, dude, do you just? It's like when we're talking to Josh in the Discord, and he's like, yeah, here you go, here you go, yeah, here's this information. Like, it's just nuts how people can just do that and it's when watching Jez, he does kind of the same thing. Like that dude pulls crap from 5, 10, 15 years ago and he remembers it. I don't remember what
In
I
an
had for
instant.
breakfast. Like And that's actually not a lie. I can't remember if I had oatmeal today or yesterday for breakfast. Like, I literally don't remember. I know I had it one of the days, and then the other day I had eggs. But so, Nate talked about what he wanted to see. Will, what do you want to see if we get a state of play?
Well, I want to see, of course, all the things that Nate said. I'm really looking forward to the first party stuff. Now, I'm gonna be a little bit more grounded. I don't think we're gonna get two showcases this year. I think we'll be lucky if we even get one at all, and if we do, it'll probably be the third quarter of the year. I think what we will see this year is state of plays. I think we will get a state of play soon, probably within the next 30 to 45 days, and it's going to be a lot of marketing for the upcoming projects because whether people want to admit it or not, the next 3 months of PlayStation, this is a heavyweight. Like they're flexing. This is insane how they're able to make these things happen and accumulate these games for their console. Which, by the way, a lot of these games you can only play on console. Some of them you can play on PC and console, and by console I mean the PlayStation 5. Where I got into a discussion with a Xbox fan, and he kept just going over the beat a dead horse thing about how PlayStation is getting these games and they're third party. And I'm like, dude, PlayStation doesn't just buy 80 million or 70 billion dollar publishers. No, a lot of these games they help. They're developing with them. They're funding them. They're giving them an opportunity where somebody like Xbox could do the same thing, but they don't. PlayStation or Nintendo could do the same thing, but sometimes they don't. And this is where PlayStation really shines is they look for the diamond in the rough. So I think that's what's gonna get that's the state of play that we're gonna get, in my opinion, that we're gonna get in the next month and a half or so. And maybe if we do get a showcase, I think it'll be in the third quarter, and I hope it's all those things that Nate said. The only thing that is holding me back on being more aggressive with this opinion is that Last of Us 2 was released in 2020. Ghost of Tsushima was released in 2020. There's a few games that were released between 19 and 21 where I don't see them. They're not all Insomniac, where they can come out with 3 games in 4 years or 4 games. I forget how many they have out. So I don't think that we're gonna see that roadmap quite yet. Now I have heard and seen that Ghost is way further along than what we think it is, and I hope that's true because they already had the foundation with the first Ghost. But and also they did the Iki Island DLC, and they also did a PS5 release for the game. So I'm hoping they're able to take that and put this game out. But that's probably my most highly anticipated game that I know of that they're working on is Ghost. So I'm like dying. And plus, I've been playing Ghost all last week. I've also, sorry, Thrifty, I'm doing both in one, what I've been playing and also the showcase. Um, I've been playing Ghost, and that game it's just so phenomenal. And I even had a tweet that went crazy last week where I had like 200,000 what do you call that in Twitter, whatever, people
Impressions.
look impressions. I'm like, whoa, I barely even get one like, and it's not my mom because she doesn't have Twitter. But if my mom was on there, she'd be the one liking my stuff. So it was crazy because the game is just so high quality. The story was so awesome. I mean, you guys all know, you guys have played it, but that's the one that I'm really looking forward to. And then the other games that I've been playing is I've been playing Gears of War. I beat the first 4 Gears. I started the fifth one yesterday, and that just got me super pissed off because I'm thinking, where the hell are these games coming from Xbox? Then this will lead into our conversation a little bit later about the Hellblade and the Metacritic and stuff like that. But it's just so unfortunate that we're missing out on the other side of gaming because of their decisions. But that's my rant.
So, uh, that's interesting you say that. I don't feel
You
like we're
do,
missing
Josh.
out
Thank
on
you.
anything, but that's okay. That's a difference in opinion, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So, real quick, I wanted to talk. Will brought up a really good point, and something that he wanted to talk about. I kind of gave a counterpoint on it, and it's the basically what it is. It's the whole uproar right now of PlayStation gamers have to pay for PS Plus to get online. PC players can play PS games online for free. They don't have to pay if they want to play multiplayer or whatever. Now,
Well, to be more
will
specific, first party PlayStation games.
sure,
PlayStation players have to pay, and PC players don't.
sure. So, we'll go ahead. Josh said, "And water is wet." No shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go ahead. Tell them your thoughts on this.
Well, obviously, I'm very unhappy with this because one, it's unfair, right? We're PC, and this is going to be a lot of opinions. I get it, guys. Look, and I'm looking at this from both sides. I'm going to support Helldivers. It's actually the first multiplayer only game that I'm interested in. I've never been interested in this before, so that is one of the things that have been brought up. Is well, they've been doing this forever. Why now? Well, first off, I'm a selfish gamer. I don't care about what you're paying for your games. I only care about me and my games and what I'm paying. And now it's affecting me because I need PS Plus in order to play this multiplayer game that you can only play online. Now, I'm already a PS Plus member, so it's not the end of the world for me. If I didn't have PS Plus, I'd be in a really tough position because now I'm like, okay, well, do I pay for PS Plus just to play this one game or do I not? And there's a lot of counter arguments about, well, PC has to pay for this and they do that, and same thing on the other side. But I think Sony needs to really take a closer look at this because there's games out there. I think Fortnite is one of them where you don't need PS Plus to play the game online, right? So for PlayStation, for first party, I already spent 500 on the console. I'm already, buying the game itself for $40. Now you are asking me to pay an additional whatever, depending on your PS Plus membership, to play the game. Where PC, they have their tower, their laptop, they have to pay for internet service, which we do as well. But that one additional step, for what? For what? And that's my side of the argument. A lot of people disagree with me. A lot of people don't care, and some people are against it. But I just think that PC gamers are already getting huge discounts on games that we don't get on brand new AAA titles. They pay 60, we pay 70, and this is just another thing that gets under my skin.
So I'm going to address both of those things, and then Nate, like I had said in kind of the intro, I'm going to let him give his side, I'll give mine, and then I definitely want to hear from you on what you think on this. Um, so here's my thing. First, yeah, they pay $60 for some of their games. We pay 70, and ours generally look better, but or run better at least, generally speaking. That being said, though, you made a statement in there that you said this affects you. It's never been a
Yes.
problem until it started affecting you. So you're telling me that the years that you've had PS Plus, say 3 years, because you said you came into this on the PS5, right? Or was it the PS4?
No, I've had PS Plus for way longer.
Okay.
I've been paying for PS Plus for over a decade.
Okay.
But
So
I
cool.
wasn't informed on the situation. I just got PS Plus because of the games. You get the free monthly
Sure.
games. I didn't know
That's why
anything
I
about
got it.
online or none of that stuff. I just learned that in the last half decade or so.
But it wasn't affecting you up until the point that somebody said, "Hey, they don't have to pay for this thing that you have to pay for."
No, it affected me when PlayStation came out with a first party game that interests me that's multiplayer online.
But you already have Plus.
Yes, but like I mentioned earlier, or a few podcasts ago, this will probably be the last year I pay for PS Plus, and I'm still contemplating if I'm going to keep the basic or not. So in the future, Helldivers is just the first step, and Sony's going this route, right? Where they're going to live service games, they're going to be doing more of these types of games, which great. But the real core of this question is, like RPG says. Why, what is the point of online multiplayer paywall? And that's the real question.
So Nate, what's your thoughts, man? I'm on the side that this is a non-issue. We haven't been affected by this at all. I'm not going to borrow any kind of frustration from this. I don't care. I'm still going to have PS Plus, and therefore I'll still be able to get online. It won't matter. It'll be the same that it's been for me since the
Especially after the
PS3.
increase in 2023.
You mean the $3 a month increase?
Well, that's $33, $36 a year.
I'm
That
sorry,
makes a
it's $4
difference,
a month then. My bad. Three
especially
seventy something.
when somebody like you, Thrifty, who only buys 3 games a year, that's another game you could have purchased with just that increase.
Now, we've had this discussion, and I agree,
Hmm.
but it's still $3 $4 a month, roughly. I made the comment earlier that a Monster Energy drink costs 364, 365 after tax,
Yeah,
and
but
so
that's not
like,
the question is why is it behind a paywall? It's not is should we or would we or is the
so
value there?
Josh said it's behind a paywall for security.
Yeah, I get that you have to be, how is that my problem? That's their
So,
service. They should have that taken care of.
all right, hang on. And Nate, what are your thoughts, man?
So I don't know. I mean, I see where you're coming from, and that was probably my stance more so in the beginning. Um, Mainly because it wasn't that expensive, but that price hike is crazy. Because I know you say monthly, but I pay that shit yearly. So
Me
that
too.
shit comes,
Yeah,
yeah,
me
that
too.
shit comes out at one time.
Yeah.
So that I have premium right now, and I'm definitely not gonna have that shit when my renewal comes up. Like that price is astronomical. That shit is ridiculous. Um, so at most, I'll probably keep extra, but that's provided I could get it on sale like I normally do. Because I've never paid full price for Plus. But yeah, like the price increase is crazy. So that's probably the biggest issue for me. The actual multiplayer portion of it is not a point of contention for me. Only because it's never really affected me because like I said, yeah, I've previously always had Plus. I've never not had it. And I'll probably still have it in some capacity, even if it's the most basic one. But I don't really get it for multiplayer. I really just get it for because the games that usually come on the monthly stuff I feel have been pretty much worth it, worth the cost. Even though I don't love every month, so that's more so why it doesn't bother me. Also, if it really bothered me, in my case, I'm in a unique position to just play it on PC. So there's also that. So
Yep.
yeah, I could just forego
Yep.
PlayStation altogether, which again brings us back to the original point where I told people if PlayStation ever win everything on PC,
Yep.
eventually once I was done transitioning, you know, all my stuff over, that'd be a wrap.
Yeah, same thing for me. And if once PlayStation goes day and date on PC, I will be going to PC as well.
Yeah, and I'm already in PC heavily. It's just
Yeah,
that
yeah.
obviously I have a ton of games that I like to play on my PlayStation, but that's also because the reason I have them is because of, you know, the exclusives and stuff they offer there, and you know, I like the trophy system and stuff like that, but them also visiting, you know, apparently visiting coming out with like a their own program or a launcher or something for PC as well. I'm assuming that's going to bring about some sort of trophy support or something for PC as well. So depending on how they move going forward, man, it's just it's a wobbly road. It's a little crazy. Um, like I said, traditionally, like I said, I have it and stuff, and at least probably one more year. And like I said, provided I can get it on sale, I'll have it. But yeah, I'm also not so much of a multiplayer person either. Like COD used to be the thing like years ago. But like you said, the only reason I really kept it is because I got it on sale for like $36 all the time, and I just kept it. And then the only reason I even have premium this year is because um, they gave me like a massive discount going up to premium, so I just did it. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's more complicated, but yeah, it would be less complicated if they didn't do the price hike. But I also understand it at the same time. You know, literally everything was going up. So,
And look, and the
yeah, I'm in the
value
middle.
Like I just did this tweet a couple of days ago where I'm like, because now as you guys are aware, I'm a proud Series X owner, right?
Hmm.
And I'm going on Game Pass, and Game Pass has literally 400 and like 30, I forget the exact number, 400 like 35 games.
Hmm.
PlayStation is almost at 1,000, if not over 1,000. So when we're talking about value for PS Plus, I mean, if you are a gamer that likes to try a lot of games, whatever, it's perfect. But then you have somebody like me who I have been steadily increasing my physical collection over the past few years. Now I'm up to about 400 physical games, not including the 600 digital games that I own. Every single month that they add new games, I'm like, well, I already have that, I already have that, I already have that. So
Yeah.
the lure to get and to keep paying for PS Plus just goes down as time goes on. And then you now have the increase there, and then you have the multiplayer behind the paywall. It just rubs me the wrong way. And look, this isn't, I'm not being a negative Nancy about it, but just like anything, look what's happening with Xbox. Their gamers have kept quiet and defended the decisions that company has made for everything for a very long time. And now they're really going through it, right? Where on our side, if we're not critical, even on the smallest things, they will escalate. And every day, eventually, it's only going to be two console makers. Eventually, there may only be one in the future. I don't know. But as we are seeing things digress in a way in the gaming industry, the more control PlayStation has, the the worse it's going to be for the consumer. We're already seeing that. We are already seeing that. So even if it seems like it's a small thing that I'm talking about, and yes, I feel like it is a kind of a small thing because most of us already have PS Plus, but it's the little things. And if we don't
Well,
speak up
like
now,
you weren't wrong though. Most of us have it, but that price increase is not minimal.
yeah, yeah,
You know what
no,
I mean? Like, yeah, there are some people in our community that make a significant amount of money, six figures type thing, and
hmm
to them it's nothing. But there's plenty of us out here that budget accordingly. And like I
yeah,
said, I myself have never even paid full price for PlayStation Plus. So yeah, it is significant. And like you said, that increase is potentially, another game, especially when I think about half the games I bought, were the holy shit edition, as I like to call it.
hmm
The 80, 90, $100, so it's like games aren't even just 70 anymore,
yeah.
so yeah, there's
And
that as well.
another real quick thrifty before we pass it back to you. Another thing, Warner made a good point, right? He says that we should have brought this up 8 years ago when it happened. Yeah, you guys should have, and I say you guys because for the guys that have been involved with this online gaming, PS Plus thing, involvement, but you can't really bring that into as as a a a, a, a stance because there's millions or hundreds of thousands of brand new gamers that come into the platform every single day. It's not like PlayStation just sticks with the same fan base and that's all they have. No, every year they gain and they lose. There's a reason why they have grown over the last, I don't know, 40 years of or 30 plus years of making consoles and video games. So that argument is null and void because this isn't the same group of gamers that were there back then when this first came out that are still here now. And of course, some of those guys, a lot of those guys are still active. We joke around the podcast all the time how we're all the same age, right? We're all in our 30s or late 20s because we were around when gaming, the console gaming really became prevalent. And when we were 5, 6, 7, 10 years old, is when it really became affordable for the regular household, or at least possible for us to get it. So we're one of the core demographics, but we cannot use that argument because things, the gaming community changes dramatically year by year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think you make good points really about like the money side of it and all that because when it first came out, you were talking about Warawana's point. When it first came out, the service was $5 a month, $60 a year, and you could generally always find it on sale.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
they used to do those sales like 3 or 4 times a year where it was
And they still
50%
Yeah,
do it
they
off.
like
did.
Black Friday. That's how I get mines. And oh, another
Right.
thing, real quick, they stopped the stacking thing, so you can only stack up to like a year or 2 years, I believe it is. So once you get past that, no more.
And so, like, yeah, I mean, I signed up for it originally, probably like most did, because you got, I think it started with 2 free games a month, or 2 games included a month. I think it was two. I don't think it gave us three back then. But then I found out, because I didn't play multiplayer back then at all. Then I found out that, like, oh, I have this thing that I can do. Oh, cool. It was always just a side note for me. It was never the main reason why I had it.
Yeah, it's
And
never been the main reason why I had
Yeah,
it either.
yeah,
no, and it'll still be the secondary reason why I keep it. I'm going to be keeping it because, like, this month we're getting freaking Secret of Mana and Legend of Mana. Those are two amazing games that I have still yet to be able to sink my teeth into. And so, like, for me, I'm getting options upon options upon options of these titles that I missed for one reason or another, and boom, there it is. Okay, cool. I can go ahead and play that while I'm waiting on my next purchase. And so for me, I like it, and it doesn't really affect me. So that's maybe why I think it's not a point for me at all. But Will, I know you do play a lot of multiplayer. You love gaming with the community. You love gaming with a lot of the people in our chat, even. Uh, we game together. So, I mean, I know that you play multiplayer. So, I know that that does affect you on a more like daily basis than it will affect me.
yeah.
But
And also
so,
on the other side of that, I buy a lot of games too. You know, so if right now the choice was where the multiplayer wasn't behind a paywall, I would cancel PS Plus ASAP. Because like I said, every month that they give us these games, 9 times out of 10, I have all three. Bare minimum, I have at least two. So the benefit for me there, it's for
is
the game
gone.
part, it's gone. Yeah,
Hmm.
No, I get that, and there's been quite a few months where I at least maybe if I don't own all of them, what I'd be interested in playing, I already own it. So
Hmm.
I get that.
And so, yeah, maybe that's just differences of opinion. But I think, and maybe that's so. When I saw a clip from Porter Rock, and when I saw that clip, I was like, man, why? Why are we yelling about this? Like, why are we frustrated? But if this is coming from people who play multiplayer a lot and buy these games, and like Will, like you said, then I can definitely see the frustration on that end. For a gamer like me who's still focused heavily on those single player story driven games, I'm not I'm not in the least affected by it because I was going to pay for it anyways. Um, with that, real quick before we move to the next topic, there are 20 something people in here, I think. It just closed on me. There are 23 people in here. There are 12 likes, 11 likes. That's weird. Now there's 12. Go ahead and hit that like button, guys. Uh, Subscribe if you're new here. We do this show every week. Joined with my co host Will and our guest Nate. And we will be moving to the next topic now. And hang on because I'm having technical difficulties. Okay, so before we get into the big meat and potatoes of tonight, uh, Hellblade 2, it's a game that might be coming out this year. It's a game that might be coming out next year. It's a game that might not see anything until 3 years from now. But there are internal mock reviews projecting a 90 plus score. This is from Gaming Bolt, and it says Ninja Theory's highly anticipated action adventure sequel is set to launch sometime later this year for Xbox Series X, S, and PC. 2023 was a year of recovery for Microsoft with the likes of Hi-Fi Rush, Forza Motorsport, and Starfield. Adding solid titles to the Xbox Series X and S lineup of first party titles in 2024 is looking even more stocked for the current gen console. Among several games confirmed for a release this year under the Xbox Game Studios umbrella, the one that's attracted the most buzz and attention since its announcement years ago is Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, a game that's widely anticipated to be just as critically well acclaimed as its predecessor was, if not even more so. In fact, that seems to be the internal expectation within Microsoft as well. Dear God, they're doing it again. That's as per prominent leaker Nate the Hate, who said in a recent episode of Spawncast's Direct Xbox podcast that based on what he was hearing last year, Microsoft internal projections for Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 are for the game to land on Metacritic. I'm sorry, the game to land a Metacritic score of over 90. The leaker says he isn't sure if that's based on purely internal mock reviews or if Microsoft had an external mock reviews done as well, but the company seems to be expecting widespread critical acclaim for the action adventure title. Oh, wow. Um, so everybody remembers that game that came out last year. It came out, I think, in May, called Redfall.
Yep.
It was done by, you know, they had internal reviews. Phil had to go on a kind of a cleanup tour afterwards saying, no, we don't suck. We didn't even touch the project. It was all them. And then that caused the Arcane Studios to go, hey, no, wait a second. Y'all, y'all made us stop production on a game, and we told you we didn't want to make multiplayer, and now you've made us make multiplayer, and this is your fault.
That actually
But
made them look even worse because all he's saying is we don't know what's happening right under our noses in our own company.
right, and the studio is saying, no, you did. You told us to do this, and we told you we didn't want to, and we didn't feel like we were going to deliver on it, and you said do it anyways. Like, that's on you. And now we have another game being propped up by Xbox. Another game internally, quote unquote, from Trust Me Bro sources, that this game is scoring in the 90s, and they expect this to be the biggest and best release of the year for Xbox X and S and PC. Like, guys, how many more times can history repeat itself? And Nate, what do you think about this? Do you think the game's really going to land at a 90? Do you think it's coming out this year?
I mean, I could see it coming out this year. I just don't think it's gonna land at a 90. Um, I mean, everything I've seen from the game seems kind of weird the way they're showing it off. They keep showing it off at these like weird angles and just like a game that's been shown off so many times and we still haven't really seen truly raw gameplay is just weird. Like there's just a lot of weird stuff going on with it. I mean, maybe they're hiding it for good reason, but what I've seen just doesn't look all that overhauled outside of graphically. Um, and them saying they internally that whole regard is that's just completely disregarded. The whole uh, it's scoring a 90 internally because, like you said, we clearly saw how that went with Redfall. So clearly that's 100% unreliable. So yeah, him even mentioning that is completely irrelevant. So, yep.
It's but it's internal. It's the people who actually make the game and other people are playing it and Lord Jesus. Will, what you got, man? I mean, I know that every week it's the same story, different chapter, but they keep stepping in shit. So what you got?
I actually think that it's a very good possibility that the game will be rated at a 90. And the only reason I say that is because the Xbox tax is real. And not until post nut clarity is it when the review scores actually adjust themselves to what they really should have been. And we see it all the time from these big reviewers online, not just Xbox guys, but just your general gaming guys, where they rate. We all know that Sony first party games are graded at a much different standard. The expectation for PlayStation first party games is on a whole other level, right? They expect perfection. Anything less than that is a bomb. So that's the only reason I say that it might be a 90 is for that reason only. Obviously, there are internal expectations for this game. They can expect whatever they want. You know, they can expect the 100 Metacritic. But the problem is, as we've seen, as the like 30 says, the meat and potatoes of the topic of tonight, they are failures. They are failures at what they do. They don't know how to make a good game to save their lives. They have ruined. I just told my son this a couple days ago. Hey man, any games that you like on Xbox on Game Pass, start letting me know so we can start putting a plan together on when and how to buy them. Mainly for me, so I know when I can go on a sale and get them. Because with my Series X that I just got, I've been playing all the gears. What did I do immediately? I went on eBay, GameStop, wherever I could to find the cheapest deal on Gears of War and Halo, the first four Halos, Master Chief Collection. That is all that I find value in Game Pass. That is the only first party games from Game Pass or from Xbox that I have really liked. And once I purchased those, Game Pass is out the window for my house. Not for me, but for my son. Even those games they ruined. They ruined Halo Infinite. The Gears 5, as I'm learning since I'm a new gamer, I've been hearing from all people like Josh and Noof Nukem and Wart Gamer. They were extremely disappointed with that. So it's just the same old story, like you said, Thrifty, that we, same book, different chapter. They are just unreliable. They don't know gaming. They only know business, and even that's questionable. So anything they say cannot be taken serious.
Mm. So it
They
is
fall
really,
upwards. That's what
yeah.
Josh said.
Josh said they
Literally.
fail upwards. They really do. Like, but it's interesting to me that every week, every week, except 1 week during December when no news really came out at all. Every other week, 51 weeks out of the year, there is always a story somewhere of Xbox stepping in shit. Always. We d- King Thrash did a video, gosh, spring, early summer, I think, and it was basically a video. He was trying to basically make a like a parody video of him talking bad about PlayStation because it was a response to a lot of comments saying he never talks bad about PlayStation, only Xbox and all this other stuff. And he was like, "Okay, I'll talk bad about them. I'll talk bad about them selling 25 million consoles already. I'll talk bad about them launching new games for their console all last year and into this year. I'll talk about those games scoring really well with their audiences and selling a ton of copies." And he's just sitting here just keeping on going. And he's like, "It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. I can't believe." And like, those are the stories we get with PlayStation. But Xbox, they give us stuff to talk about every freaking week. And so with this, it's another point where they talk way too much. I don't have a lot of negative crap to say about PlayStation because I don't know a lot of what PlayStation is doing. Like, my
That's
biggest
fair.
critique is that I don't know what's going on. But also, they're not going to show me a game and then 8 years later go, "Hey, it's still coming."
Yeah.
So it's it's always over. It's the same thing attached to a new story or a new game or a new headline. It's always there. They can't help themselves. And Nate, I'm actually kind of glad you're on tonight because not just because I like having you on the show, but this is actually going to fit into the next topic. Several months ago, back when ABK gave they were started to hand out deals, and
Hmm.
there was the rumor, they hadn't confirmed it yet, but there was the rumor that they were trying to work up a deal with Nintendo. And it was going to be a big, massive deal. If they bought ABK. At that point, those deals were nothing more than just toilet paper. But I had made the comment Salty's on the Saltiest Gaming podcast that everything that's lining up, if the ABK deal goes through, Xbox will have to become a third-party publisher, like
Yeah,
in
I
full.
remember.
And I remember Jez was like, "Whoa, what?" Like, nah, man, I don't think they'd ever do that. And lo and behold, and people in the chat too were like, "No, that's never going to happen." PlayStation, and even I have made the argument that PlayStation won't allow that in like full Xbox games, like full library of games, Game Pass, other things on their console until Xbox drops off out of the console race altogether.
Yeah.
But Xbox is going third party. At least that's what the rumors are. That's what the rumors are. But where am I getting my rumor from? So I had two articles, uh, and one of them is from Metro Entertainment, and then the other one that we're going to focus on tonight is from Windows Central. Yes, I said Windows Central. Uh, this is from Jez Corden. It's the other Jez that I'm not really as much of a fan of. But hey, we will be discussing his article. And like I said, it's on Windows Central. And here we go. It says the Xbox backlash continues as another console exclusive is reportedly being explored for PlayStation 5. What you need to know. At the weekend, rumors began to swirl that Hi-Fi Rush, one of Microsoft's biggest Xbox hits from last year, is coming to other console platforms. It would mark a departure from Xbox's previous comments wherein they suggested that they wouldn't explore these avenues again after creating confusion with Ori and the Blind Forest on Nintendo Switch. More recently, Xbox CFO Tim Stewart said that indeed Xbox will begin bringing more of its games to other platforms, which potentially shows a change in thinking. Previously, Microsoft said its games would be where Game Pass exists. Markedly, Game Pass is very much not on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation, and likely won't be until Xbox stops competing in the hardware space. Okay, cool. Like I said, I don't read these articles fully beforehand, and so that's really cool. Now, prominent journalists Jeff Grubb and Stephen Totillo have claimed that Sea of Thieves may also be exploring a PlayStation version. The rumor mill won't stop for this latest round of reports that Microsoft is gearing up to abandon Xbox exclusivity for its premium titles. Over the weekend, rumors began to percolate, suggesting Hi-Fi Rush, last year's breakout action hit, will move from being an Xbox exclusive to a multi-platform console title, potentially hitting Nintendo Switch or PS5. It follows earlier comments from Xbox CFO Tim Stewart. Okay, so he repeats what he just said, and then Microsoft. Here's the next paragraph. Microsoft is a prolific third-party publisher already, technically, with Call of Duty and Minecraft being notable properties the firm owns. So we're gonna stop there for just a second. I want to get some of their thoughts, some of your guys' thoughts on it. But let me clarify this because this is one thing that Xbox loyalists do that drives me absolutely nuts. Minecraft was not Xbox. Call of Duty was not Xbox. They purchased the publishers. So to say that they're technically third party or yeah, they're technically third party publishers already. One, Minecraft maybe because they have released new Minecraft
New
games.
Minecraft stuff, yeah.
But Call of Duty, like that ain't them. That ain't them. And they didn't go into Call of Duty and say, "Hey, stop making the PS5 version." Redfall, their fault. They didn't go into they didn't go into here like they did with Starfield and say, "Hey, stop making that version and only focus on this one." But we're almost done with this one. Doesn't matter. Focus on this one. Starfield, their fault. They get to claim responsibility for those games. They also do get to claim responsibility for Forza. They get to claim responsibility for the Forza last year. Those are titles that people do enjoy, that actually landed fairly okay. But they don't get to take credit for Call of Duty. Like, so when they do that, it really infuriates me because I'm like, God dang it. No, apply your process and let people see what the game looks like after your touch is applied.
Well, we've
Because,
seen that thrifty. Look at Halo. Look, I mean, like the. I'm sorry.
but with regards to what he has set up to this point, with two games heavily rumored to come, there's also another rumor flying out that, or swirling around, that Starfield, that Bethesda still has the PS5 build and is considering bringing that over as well. That's not in this article. It is on some of the less, I'd say, less reputable sites where you can find that, but there are rumors about that coming. So, Innate, do you have any thoughts on anything I've said up to this point? Xbox games coming to PlayStation, Nintendo, what you got?
I mean, honestly, I just leave it filed under rumor until I hear anything concrete. Um, people will say things, I'm sure something's coming somewhere. I mean, there's not all this noise for no reason. Uh,
Well,
but
with the CFO said it himself during that bank meeting that he had with all
well,
the
he said
investors.
something. That's why I said something is
Hmm.
coming.
Yeah.
Like what it
Something
is
is
and how
coming to
much of what,
somewhere.
yeah, and how much of it we don't know. Like that's kind of the thing. I'm just laughing. The part I find funny that I was showing my girlfriend the other night is just that a lot of the Xbox, you know, people off the deep end were freaking out over this, and it's like, dude, nothing's happened yet. Like they're freaking out. They're like, oh my god, our whole library's gone. Phil's just ruining the whole thing. And I was like, yo, y'all ready to kill somebody off of a rumor? Like y'all love this man 5 minutes ago, and now all of a sudden that this rumor is catching fire, they're losing their minds. If you're listening to this podcast, just stop doing it to us. Like, and I'm just like, bro, it's not that serious. Calm down. Um, so yeah, I mean, honestly, it doesn't surprise me with certain things. Obviously, the continuation of something like Call of Duty and stuff, like you said, is not theirs. That's just something they purchased, and they just, for whatever reason, wanted that underneath them. But ultimately, if you want to keep the money rolling, and you see where the money is, Call of Duty is essentially a 70% revenue from PlayStation ordeal. So I mean, they'd be stupid to buy that for 70 billion, and then sit on all that money for no reason.
Dude,
Um,
I found. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, 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 you're good. Go ahead.
I found it super funny that after the deal was signed, and here's how this had to work. Here's how this worked in my head, okay? Like, I've created this whole little scenario. The deal was signed. The full financial files were given. They saw how much money PlayStation was making ABK, and they were like, oh shit. Okay. And that's where
Hmm.
the CFO started speaking like, hey, y'all aren't competitors anymore. We want to be friends.
There you go.
Like, that's just how that plays out in my head. And I know that when you're doing business acquisitions, I know that almost everything has to get disclosed.
Yeah.
But there had to have been something, some graph, some number that they finally saw that was like, oh damn. Um, yeah, Phil, we can't keep it on ours alone. We need this money. Apparently, we don't contribute a damn thing to the gaming industry, and we need to tap into the folks that do. And
Well,
so,
the thing came out prior where it was stated that Xbox accounted for so little revenue-wise for Call of Duty that they weren't even on the list. Like when they showed the splits for the percentages for what sells where, like by revenue, they didn't even bother putting Xbox on the list.
yeah,
That's how
Josh
small it
just said it
was.
was less than 5%.
Yeah, it was super small. They were like, yeah, so those guys are irrelevant.
It's just funny to me. Will, what do you think, man? Are you? Here's the deal. Of their current catalog, is there any game that you're really like, oh man, I hope that actually comes so I can play it? Now, pretend you didn't just get a PS or a Series X for Christmas from your mom.
My sister.
Go ahead.
Um, the reason Xbox fanboys are going crazy about this is because for so many years they didn't do anything. And now they see their mistakes right up close to their face. And it hurts because accountability is a bitch. And that's the only reason they're going up in arms. In reality, they don't care that the games are going to PlayStation or Nintendo. They can give two shits. It's because of accountability. They let this happen themselves. And you're saying, well, how? They're just the gamers. They don't buy the games. They have lied to Xbox about their support superficially because Xbox knows who's playing what in their console, but they gas themselves up so much publicly to themselves and Xbox that now with this news, they're really hurt. They're really hurt. Another thing that this also reminds me of is like when you're from a small town and you get the hottest girl in the city, right? And you think you're hot shit. You're like, yeah, I got the hottest girl in my village, in my town. And then you go to like Miami, right? And you think you're gonna be hot shit there too. But then you realize that the hottest girl in your town was like a Miami 4, and now you're really seeing a much bigger picture of what the world really is like. Then you just want to crawl back in your hole, and that's exactly what happened at Xbox once they saw those numbers from PlayStation. They thought that they were doing something because these Xbox fans kept egging them up, egging them on social media, and saying how great their games are. And I just tweeted this a couple weeks ago where I halfway through Halo Infinite, I got not a trophy, but
An
whatever the thing
achievement?
is called, an achievement, and I'm looking at the achievement, and you have to get this achievement. It's a mini boss fight that you get halfway through the game. If you don't do it, you don't continue the game. And it was like at 12%.
Yeah, you posted
12%.
something about that. Like,
12%. Where on the other hand, we have 25% of PlayStation gamers platinum Spider-Man 2, let alone finish the damn game. They talk about Hi-Fi Rush. We're not even, I forget, like 4 or 5% or some crap like that. Even beat the first level. It's like these guys don't even deserve what they want or what they're saying they want. And secondly, the games coming over to PlayStation, it's not an automatic that they're gonna get that money. It's not an automatic. It just really isn't because they have to earn our business. Yes, we buy games on this side, but look at the games that we're buying. Horizon, Last of Us, God of War. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And mind you, the list that these guys always say, well, you guys are always talking about the same games. These games are all new IPs or IPs that have been completely redone that look nothing like their original IP. All have been done within the last 5, 6 years. That's just 5, 6 years worth of PlayStation, what we consider the heavy hitters. So we're not even talking the last 2 decades of PlayStation first party games. And that's what really hurts them because now we flip it. 22 years, 23, whatever, 22, 23, 24 years of Xbox existence, and we're still talking about the same game, Halo, Gears, Forza. That's what really hurts them. They have no point. There is no point. Like a lot of people have been saying, the console war has ended. Now they're going through PTSD. They're having nightmares. They're have cold shakes about what's happening, but it's already lost. There's nothing they can do about it. The CFO, the CEO of Microsoft, not Xbox, are business people. They want to extend their business. They want to go into the they want to make their console an app. They don't care about the hardware, and they want to get that app on as many platforms as they possibly can.
so real
Oh,
quick,
and one
sorry
more
to cut you
thing.
off. Hang on. Breaking news. This is why everybody needs to be in the Discord. Breaking news. Colt Eastwood put out some stuff. Uh, he said, I've already heard the PS5 versions of some Xbox first party games are already ported and ready. Another person replied to him, "Where did you hear this?" And he said, "From my source that works with a specific game studio." So, guys, like, you have these people like Colt, like Dustin, well, not Dustin, Destin. You have these people, these couple folks, who are finally starting to like get out of the brainwash. Like it it's like the fog is finally starting to clear. And somebody posted in the chat the other day, they showed the video of what I think it was Destin. I think what Destin was saying, like several years ago, was like, "What's up, Twisted Sin? Oh, what's up, Jez? I saw you come in here. Appreciate you stopping by, man. If you want to join, just type in the chat that you want to join up, and we'll let you in." Um, but like he talks about how Xbox loves exclusives. The exclusives are good, not going to go exclusive. How it's really good that these two brands can battle it out by way of their exclusives, and Xbox is going to have great games and great branding and great all this. And then it says a few years later. It was like, I don't think it's such a bad idea that people, that PlayStation gamers have access to certain Xbox titles like Hi-Fi Rush. I think that'd be really good. It's fucking insane to me to just like listen. I'll be honest. I don't want my PlayStation first party or second party exclusives to go somewhere else day and date. I absolutely do not. I like my exclusives. I like that they're not watered down because they're developing them for different systems. I like that. I also like the fact that if I want a game, I buy it. I don't wait for anything. And so it's it's so freaking stupid. It's the absolute the insane levels of copium that literally are going around are insane. And I don't use that word a lot because that word annoys me. I just don't like the way it sounds. I feel like it's a cop out. I feel like people a lot of times are sitting there saying it just as like it's the same thing as an Xbot or a Sony Pony. Like those statements are just very ridiculous to me. But when you see it so many dang times and it keeps happening and it keeps going, it's very, very interesting that we have games that are going to be making it their way, ported and ready from Colt Eastwood. Now, here's the deal. I don't typically take tweets without an article or a citation as any kind of fact or anything like that. But I do put a little bit more stock in it when it's coming from the side that is reporting the bad news. Like, right, like if a PlayStation centric channel reports something bad or negative about PlayStation, then I take that and I go, okay, cool, that's probably actually happening. But if I hear that same story from Xcast or from the Lion's Den, I'm more likely to go, if they don't have a source, I think they might have just made that up for the console war crap. And so, like, does that make sense? Like, does that make sense what I'm saying? Will?
Yep.
Oh, welcome to the playground, Jez from the Grindhouse. What's up,
Yo,
man?
what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
How you doing, man? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, dude.
Dude, this
This
wild year.
this is PlayStation came in and busted the door down and said, "Hey guys, here's the first 5 months. You're welcome. Leave us alone." Xbox came in and said, "Hey Xbox fans, yeah, just wait. Just wait. We're coming for you. But we're also going to come for them and for them." So,
Yeah, it's been crazy. Like I said that first week there wasn't much going on, and then these rumors came out, and like what you were saying before. The craziest thing is how a leak from Nate the Drake, or whatever it is, Nate the Nate, I don't know what the hell his name is,
yeah.
but that one little just statement, and then it just how many more people just jump on and going, yeah, I heard it. Oh yeah, it's this game, And then like this is people like it's just a rumor, and it is still just a rumor, but the fact that like all these people like kind of know this and heard this and they just wait for somebody to break the news and then they all just jump on. Same thing goes for like when there was like mess up like issues over at 343 or issues over there and everybody's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be great, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, yo, I heard there's some bad news, or Jason Schreier says something, everybody goes, oh yeah, I heard the same thing, there's problems there. Like it's so funny how they hold on to this news and they don't want to break it, but it's just with being withheld, and it's not even like there's like a legit source that said this. It was just somebody that said, hey, it's a rumor, they're gonna do this, and then everybody else just goes, oh yeah, I heard the same thing, I hear all this stuff, and the thing, like what you were saying before about the whole, the thing is I feel that going down the slope of like they don't buy, like Xbox fans, or that they don't buy their games. I think there's a lot of frauds with the Xbox, and I think also too people are looking for positive Xbox news because Xbox hasn't done well in a while, and anything good, it's like they grasp onto it, and I think people have taken advantage of that. And they're fake gamers. Like they've done this. Like they just said, hey, let me do this, talk up hype, great news, and everybody will come there and do that. And I think that those people definitely need to be exposed for not playing games and lying to their audience. But I think in general, the problem is that Microsoft has not really given, well, Xbox has not really given compelling games that they used to do. Like they stopped doing the good stuff, I think, in 2017 when they went to this Game Pass focus. They because remember, they were grabbing Titanfall, they were getting Rise from Crytek. Like why they don't work with Crytek anymore? They were getting Dead Rising from Capcom exclusively. The generation before, they were doing Lost Planets, and then they even did the deals with with Square Enix with Tomb Raider, doing exclusives, in addition to redoing Gears Ultimate and Halo 5 and doing the Fables and doing, which they canceled eventually. But like they were doing it, and that's the point that I always want to make, is that this is not that they've been bad for all these years. They've did a shift, and I never liked the shift because I noticed they changed what they used to do, which made me an Xbox fan, and they changed that. And I think that led to people not buying games. The Game Pass really hampered a lot of those sales when they lied right to our faces saying it's going to make more people buy the games. No, it didn't. And I think they lied a lot with that stuff. So I think Microsoft created this bed, and now they're sleeping in it and trying to figure out how the hell to get out of it. And the install base right now is very, very poor, in the sense that, dude, they've just coached people to wait for games, to wait for Game Pass. Whenever a game gets announced, it's like, is it in Game Pass? They go after the devs if it's not in Game Pass, saying your game's gonna fail, and it just, they created this culture of Game Pass, which it should never been that. It should have been an alternative way of experiencing games rather than the way. And it all kind of, like you said, they kind of made this situation that they're in now, that they kind of have to do this.
Yeah, it's the thing that it's the logical outplaying. It's the same. It's like I said, it's the logical outplaying of what they're doing. They bought Bethesda, a huge company that was multi-plat. They bought ABK, a huge company that was multi-plat. Obviously, way bigger than uh, Bethesda, or way bigger than ZeniMax, but still, they bought it. And their games aren't selling. They're less than 5% of the total revenue for ABK. Or for Call of Duty, I mean, they don't have a place on their console to put this game. They really don't. They don't have a place to put most of the games that they're coming out. Because these games do cost money. And as Phil Spencer has already said, the Game Pass numbers on Xbox are stagnant.
2 years ago he said that, yeah.
2
And
years ago.
Thrifty, what makes people believe that even if the games do come to PlayStation, that PlayStation gamers are even going to want to buy these games. Like, we got standards, man. We get 30, 40, 60. We get 4K, 1080, 14. I mean, the options are crazy. So Xbox thinks that just because they port the game over that they're going to see success. That's not the case, man. It's not a guarantee. They got to work hard for that. And guess what? If they're going to work hard to get PlayStation sales, they should have done that shit for their own damn console.
Yeah, no, what you're right about is like these are true, these are older games. They already kind of like had their debut and stuff, and usually the second go around, it gives a little bit of life to it, but it doesn't really carry it like, oh my god, it's going to give it more life to it in the sense that it's going to be like almost like launch numbers or something like that. And even with those were so like you're right, like I don't think that it's going to do much, but like I've always said, they are everywhere already. The only places where they're not is on a Switch and PlayStation, and because of that, they can that number is growing so fast that they are actually those two are becoming the console market, and they can't just leave that whole group out. Especially the games that they make are primarily console games since they have an Xbox. So they're kind of, well, they're probably the PC too, but I think the audience that they make for, like, they're not making strategy games like Gears Tactics all the time. Like they do have Command and Conquers and not Command and Conquers, with Age of Empires, but the thing is that's a huge install base that you're missing out on, and they basically created that where, that and the Switch and PlayStation are growing so fast that they can't leave them out in the cold. There's only so much that PC and mobile could offset the costs of that they're not getting on the console, because their console install base is not growing. We see the sales numbers of that, and PC seems to be doing all right with some games, but there's so much competition on PC, and just to Will, that's you, right? Will was saying that about
yeah,
because I thought the same thing, that there's so much competition on PC when you put a game there that it just gets thrown in with a whole bunch of games. Same thing is going to go with PlayStation and Nintendo. You're going to put that game on there. There's a lot of games that people are going to have to, exclusives that they get and things like that, to have your game stand out over there. So that's the issue that they're in, man. That's why they got to make really kick-ass incredible games, because they have to work that much harder. You call it the Xbox tax if you want, but they got to work that much harder because they have put their levels so low for mediocrity and just getting it out. Like, look what they did to Forza. Did you see that? I know that's not a topic, but dude, that Forza is atrocious. They that whole leveling up system, they're fixing it. When people told them before it came out that was a problem, they're like, yeah, we heard you. Okay, we're gonna fix the leveling up system with one car leveling up, and you can't do that. You gotta hit hard on day one and make it just like how Hi-Fi Rush did, and like that came out, it was like, yo, this game's great, just play it. And you find out the way they stealth dropped that thing was because they didn't know when to announce it. How crazy is that? They even dropped the ball on that game.
Like they had a schedule full of shit.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Like they couldn't
I know.
have just...
Look, Wanna says 6 years, Jess. How much time do they need? Dude, time's been up. I told you they don't borrow time, dude. Time is up. They're crawling out of the ET hole now. Trying to.
One of the things that I think they're hoping for is, I remember back when Tomb Raider, not the reboot, not the first game, but the second game, ended up being an Xbox exclusive for a year. And it actually didn't sell that well.
Because it was completely irrelevant and none of us cared.
And when it came out to PlayStation, it became relevant, and then it sold well, and they greenlit the third.
Yep.
Like, it was us on PlayStation that did that. It wasn't the Xbox. They thought they scored such a big deal. Holy crap, Crystal Dynamics is going to give us the game, even though CD had a huge good relationship with Sony. Like, they thought they did something. And the game, the third one, almost didn't get made. If it wasn't for us on the PlayStation side, it wouldn't have. So I think they're hoping for that type of success. But I had said this to a Nate in the saltiest gaming chat on X that there's not a game that has come out that I really can even see myself playing. And so, Jez, like you said, until they fix the quality of these things,
Hmm.
it's not going to matter. And one of the things that I find interesting is I know, you know, Will, Nate, all of y'all know the only reason why we got Forza and Redfall is because they wanted to hit the one game a quarter. That's why Redfall didn't come out with 60 FPS, and
Yeah.
that's why Forza looks like dog shit. And so you have these things that they're so particular about hitting, but yet everything else is like always fluid and always changing. But nope, nope, we have to get these games out once every 3 months, or we're not doing what we're so like.
That's a concern. Yeah.
Why is it so easy to go, yep, our games are everywhere? Oh, our games aren't everywhere. Why is it so easy to flip flop back and forth on that? Or, oh, we're making a new console. It's not really a new console, but yes, it is a new. Like, why is it so easy to flip flop back and forth and to change your mind? But when it comes to releasing good games to your clients who pay money into your system, you say, nah, ship it. Like, you literally just say fuck it and just send
I,
it on out the
that
door.
that was last year, dude. That was Redfall, and that was Forza, and even I would say even Starfield for a sense. Like they, you're right. Like you can't do that. And trying to fix the game, like you have one time to make a first impression. Like it's
Absolutely.
just like with Halo, dude. Season 5. You're getting little blips more and more, but you're never gonna get that engagement again. Like it's a really a shot in the dark to really try to get those numbers back up again. So you got to hit, and you got to hit hard on day one and make sure that game is quality. And Hellblade is another, we need to see what that's going to be. And then the whole thing with Indiana Jones being announced only a couple of years ago, and now they're going to show it. I don't know if it's coming out this year, but I think maybe they start showing gameplay, now. It's crazy. It's 3 years to make it. But again, it has to be quality. I don't give a shit how long it takes to make games, but the game has to come out without the excuses and without the we'll fix it.
I agree.
That's what's been their problem. Their problem has been every game, especially major ones, Halo, the biggest, have had just these compromises that
And
they had
Jess,
to sort out.
just
Yeah.
last week, just for shits and giggle, because I'm not a multiplayer gamer like that, I checked out, while I was playing Infinite, I checked out Halo multiplayer, and I don't know how to play it. I've never played it, so I just hit quick match, and I waited like 5 minutes to find a
Yes.
match.
Yes, it does. But they did add a lot of maps to it that for user created ones. But yeah, it does take forever to do that. And then just to add to that, like look at this Minecraft Legends. Minecraft Legends was put everywhere day one. I was gonna probably do a video on this. Minecraft Legends was put everywhere day one. It was on PlayStation, Switch, PC. I think it was everywhere. And less than a year, they just said we're done supporting it. Like sayonara, we're done. And they didn't do that to Minecraft
It was
Dungeon,
like eight
but they did
months.
that to Minecraft Legends,
Yeah,
the
it was like
second
eight
one.
months, man. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Like,
Mm.
that's and they did the same thing to what Bleeding Edge, right? It was less than a year, and they're like, "Yeah, we're done supporting this game," and
So
you can't do that
we
and
talked about
expect confidence.
Hellblade a bit earlier, and if you want it to be a great game, Jez, I have some amazing news for you. Internal
Yes.
mock reviewers have
Uh-oh.
said it's in the 90s.
Are these the same ones that rated Redfall?
So you're probably going to get like an 81 or an 82, which for
Well,
Xbox is a win.
that's what
Well, I
Hellblade
don't
got the
trust any
first
of
time
that stuff.
around. They got an 81 the first time around. And
Phil
by the
said double
way,
digits for Redfall.
yeah, no, it's a win for them. But by the way, this Hellblade, I'm looking at it as a new IP. I'm not seeing it as Hellblade 2 because it's under Microsoft's control. I wonder what kind of fuckery they did to ruin whatever that team was originally going to do. So they've really got a steep hill to climb. And the reason I'm saying this is because if they are planning or do plan on bringing it over to PlayStation 5 or Nintendo Switch, probably not Nintendo, but PlayStation 5, they got a big hill to climb.
Mm. And they
I see. The thing is Hellblade 2. I love the first one. That was like, what's
Me
funny
too.
is like that's when I got my PlayStation. Was
I
like
got a
right around
platinum.
Hellblade 1, and I loved Hellblade 1. But I always say the thing with Hellblade 1 was that the charm of it was that it was at the time there was that crossroads between indie games and AAA games, and this came out as a quote indie game with an indie price of $30 at the time,
Hmm.
and it looked the way it did like a AAA game. Like I remember that was the production and the sound and the graphics was like, yo, this game is not a $60 game. This is half the price, and it has this production value. And that was a goal that Ninja Theory was trying to do, was make a AAA game looking game for as an indie studio. That was the project. Now, they're not an indie studio anymore. They are now part of a $1 trillion company over since 2018. So this game has started, soup to nuts, has started with Microsoft Daddy money from the beginning. They got new studios. They gave them all new Windows 11 laptops. They're all ready to go. So I'm expecting Hellblade 2 to be huge.
And
Let's
Jeff, when
see.
you say this, you came to first time you came to PlayStation. What do you mean by that? Like from PlayStation 3? Like what do you mean by that? You
Yeah,
came
well, so I had Xbox. I never had a PlayStation 2. I had a
okay.
PlayStation 1. I went from PlayStation to Nintendo 64 to GameCube, and then from GameCube I went to Xbox. And
Yep.
then I got a PS3 in when they were like they messing around with Kinect and they showed Kinectimals. I'm like, oh shit! And then PlayStation started showing God of War 3. I was like, I got a PlayStation 3 in 2010, I think. And then I got played Uncharted, and I played a lot of the games. I started Last of Us, I didn't finish it. Then I went right. I was playing still primarily on Xbox because the party system in PlayStation 3 was not good. There was no chatting or anything. It was just kind of felt lonely over there. But the games are great. And then so that's why I went back with Xbox One at launch, and I had that until Phil Spencer came out on stage, and a lot of people might know the story. Phil Spencer came on stage and said $500 for the Series X, for the One X, and I'm like, I'm not giving you $500 to play my old games again. I'm going to use that money, and I'm going to go buy a PlayStation Pro, and I
Yep.
started playing those games, and I kept looking at my Xbox, going, "Are you kidding me?" And
And
then
I was
that was it.
familiar with that story just a little bit,
Yeah.
because I listened to your podcast. But I just wanted you to repeat that real quick for the people in the back who are
You
It's
saying
such a
attract me.
good
that
story.
Dude, you
you're
attract me. It's
freaking
the truth.
exactly. And that's what I keep
Exactly.
telling people is like the reason we go hard on Xbox is because a lot of them came from Xbox and they know what they did. And now that we're seeing this fuckery, no, we're not doing it because we want Xbox to not exist. I want
No,
Xbox to
man.
continue to exist. I just want them to put out quality games. I want to be able
They
to go from
used
my
to do.
PlayStation to Xbox just like they used to do.
Like they used to do. Like I
So
get
Yeah.
it. The thing that grinds me up so much too is like, they never bought Epic to get Gears. Like they didn't buy EA and then buy Respawn Studios to get Titanfall. Like they didn't buy Crytek to get Rise. Like they didn't have to go through all this legal stuff and all this drama and Lulu and all. We didn't need any of this stuff. They just gave you games, and
Yep.
everybody was playing and everybody was happy. They weren't happy, I guess, but that's the thing that they used to do. That's the frustration because now it's everything but that. The games are the
mm,
things that are suffering, I find, and it's like, but they're making money. Oh, Phil Spencer signed somebody's ass. Somebody got a tattoo last week. Oh, Phil Spencer hugged my grandma. Took a picture with me. He took us out to dinner. Greenberg brought us coffee. Oh, he's such a nice guy. Takes it on the chin. All this shit. And I'm like, but Lulu's my friend on Twitter. Like, who cares? The games, dude. The games. We're
so
not care
Nate,
about Lulu. Lulu cashed out.
Nate, what do you think? Which,
She
by the
played
way,
them all
Jez,
on Twitter,
you
dude.
called that. You called that.
Oh my
And
God,
Nate,
Lulu, friggin', they should do. Lulu was she friggin', what was that thing when you? Oh my God, she fluffed them all, man, on Twitter. she had them all going because she.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
They said we were jealous because Lulu was their friend, and and
Lulu.
this and that, and I was like, bro, you act like she coming over for Christmas dinner, like
Dude, and, when she
like
left,
her
everybody's like,
assistant is
"Oh,
probably replying to you on Twitter. It's not even her.
yeah,
Yeah, reply
oh my
reply to them, make
God."
it look good.
And all the pictures. What about all the pictures they took with Sarah Bond and stuff? Like 3 ladies, like, oh my
Oh,
God, man,
the
she
three
played them all.
Valkyries, the three
Yeah,
Valkyries of Xbox.
the
Yeah,
Valkyries
yeah,
Outback. She
yeah.
left a month later. Get the hell out of here.
Oh yeah.
Ate it all up like a bunch of
Her only
clowns.
friend was that dude, that's separating all her accounts so she can dodge taxes
Friggin' Ronald
appropriately.
McDonald now, grabbing ass. He cashed out too. Like,
So,
get the hell out of
like,
here.
here's-
What a joke.
If you follow like the whole train of like all the bull crap that has happened in 2023, there is no way that Xbox fans, no matter how bad they tried to lie to us about Redfall, no matter how bad they tried to lie to us about Starfield, no matter how bad they're trying to claim Call of Duty as their own property right now, and everything Call of Duty is technically Xbox now, so it means they did all of that. No,
Hey man, they can keep that mental gymnastics or whatever they want to do, man.
Bro,
What makes them tucks them in at night?
no matter how much they tried to lie to us over all of those things, they tried to put fan the flames of the liquid metal problem, of the Ifrit
Oh,
battle
yeah, I
breaking
remember.
consoles.
The T1000 living in your PlayStation.
Right. Like, they tried all of this, and now, here's how I know that this is probably real. Because instead of making up some kind of bullshit, they're just sitting there taking it like champions and going, yep, we're just going to keep getting hit in the mouth, and this is okay. We knew this was coming. This is fine.
You're right.
We-
There's no like, oh, you're right. There's no excuses like, oh, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of collaborations. Like,
Yeah, these are the same
I
folks
heard
that said
this.
Redfall was good. Like,
Oh boy, don't get
and
me
you're
started
not
on those
defending
people.
this. You're not making up stories about this. You're just saying, you know what? I don't think it's a bad idea if it. Of course not. Of course not. Because that's I think what gives this validity. Because
I mean, they'll spin it into whatever they need to. I mean, but
yeah, that's
because they
why.
can't lose their
yeah,
base.
they-
That's the problem.
yeah, and like
Yeah.
you guys have said, the real problem, because I got to run down the street here, and you guys will probably possibly be done by the time I get back. But the thing you guys said earlier when I came back was that's the most important thing. That if they want Xbox to stick around, and none of us have ever said we want Xbox to go away. I don't know why they keep making up these false narratives that PlayStation fans say. And I keep telling people, dude, no one on PlayStation side is saying that. Those are Xbox people who are parroting their own narratives. Like, they're the ones saying that we're saying that, but we're not saying that. I want Xbox to make quality games. I don't want them to purchase 97 more studios. I don't want them to purchase anybody else. You got 40 plus studios. Do something with them. You know what I mean? Like I want you to make quality, because right now Xbox's main problem is not the people who are diehard and logging on their Xbox every day, or not really, because half of them are lying about how much they play anyway, which those wrap-ups clearly showed. But it's the people who don't have one. There are plenty of people out here in the wings waiting. One of my friends, she's excited for Hellblade and all that stuff, but guess what? As much as she's excited for Hellblade 2 and stuff, if Hellblade 2 comes out and it doesn't hit, she's still not getting an Xbox. The quality, again, like you guys said, is the problem. You need to step up the quality, and it needs to remain consistent enough for me to feel like I can confidently purchase this product. That's it. It's that simple. Phil talking about I can make an 11 out of 10 and people won't. Yeah, no one's selling their
That's
PS5, bro.
crazy.
Get over that. But people will purchase an Xbox who only want to play on consoles, but y'all just are not meeting the bar. And it's like you guys are not offering them something unique on that platform that they feel like is that game they cannot miss, and they're begging for it. My friend can't wait. She's like, Fable, I'm excited for that, and all these other games. But unlike the Xbox fans, she's not in mythical wonderland thinking, oh, these are coming out in 5 minutes. No, she needs hard facts. I need to know when it's coming, and I need a date, and I need to see that they're hitting and that they're good. Period. That's it. Make good games. That's all we want.
Well, let me ask you a question because I had this, and I think this is where a lot of the frustration comes from, is that what they did last year with exclusivity, and then to come around this year and kind of be like, yeah, here's some games that are going to go to the competition. Like if this was their plan, and this is the craziness, if this was their plan to kind of do this, then why would they go in and tell Redfall dev that who came out and said they told us not to make a PlayStation 5 version? Then also with Starfield, they went in there and said stop the play. Like, why would they tell them to stop unless they told them to pause?
Yeah, they probably
and prioritize a pause rather than a stop. But just like that's very frustrating, right? As a fan, you go, oh man, they're buying this and it's exclusive, and then the next year you're finding out they might be porting some games over to competition. But yeah, that's all I wanted to ask you guys that.
So my theory is this. That I think after the ABK deal closed, they got access to all of the documents, and they got access to everything, and they really saw how much PlayStation made ABK. And at that point, I think just like before, when they see the numbers and see how valuable PlayStation is, Xbox is going to go third party. Because they're like, oh, crap, we just bought a company that makes more in a year than we do. Like,
yeah. So you think they saw the numbers?
Where do they make
but
that
they see the numbers
from?
too. Like
they
from
know
they know the numbers. I don't think it was a surprise.
Yeah. If they see that the game industry is making $50 billion a year, but they're only getting $100 million.
They see the real MVPs too.
Somebody, they know.
They show the breakdown and everything. I'm sure they see that.
Shift, doesn't it? It feels like such a quick boom. We're doing this. Like
that's where a lot of the that's where a lot of the fan frustration is. Like you just made a big whoop-de-doo about exclusivity and Starfield, and now we're back. And Hi-Fi Rush was an exclusive, and that's why a lot of people are saying like you didn't give it enough time to like. It just came off like the awards. This could have been like another kind of early kind of get it back in, I guess. But he said. Piscatella said nobody was even playing the game, at the end of December. So, I don't know, man. I just think I think it's just you're right. It is a big. They've been doing it, but it seems to be a big change going on, and they've been doing it, but it's just so misleading, and that's where I put all my pressure not on the fans. The fans are the fans. I put it on the friggin' companies because those are the sons of bitches that have been lying to us, okie dokie-ing all of us. Like that's where we should put all our energy is into them because we're the consumers. Like fans are gonna cap and fans are gonna be this, but never the people. It's the messaging. It's where the message comes from. There are people that fake it. Those are the ones you could go at. But I'm talking about the main problem. Is them, and it's Phil Ness. That's always been my problem was him disrespecting us and telling us one thing and doing another. Now whether he's getting tugged and pulled from Satya and Satya wants to do one thing and Phil's trying to maintain whatever he has, I think that may be some extent to why Phil Ness exists, the origins of it. Write a book.
You need to do a video called "The Origins of Phil Ness."
Phil Ness. I really think that like Tim Stewart and Matt Booty and Phil, like you could see the disconnect in their communications when those emails leaked last year. How Stewart's like, yes, let's get our money back, and Phil and Booty are like, no, we need to build content, and it's worth it in the long run, and an identity and exclusivity. And Stewart's like, what exclusivity? Satya doesn't want exclusives. I don't want exclusives. I want to make money. And if PlayStation and Nintendo are sitting over there, we're just waiting for our games, sell it to them so we get our money back faster. And that's the money man. And I think there's that struggle.
Yeah, I don't think.
Go ahead, Will.
I don't, something that I also have to remind you guys is that it's just because these guys are in charge of $1 trillion corporation does not mean that they're that smart. Like I've been in companies
they're not. You saw those emails, dude.
Yes, So it's like another possibility of why this is happening. What it seems like overnight. It's just like anything, bro. You go to the grocery store, you had $300, you were looking to spend 50, and then you see that cool new thing you want, and you're like, oh, it's just $100, so I'll still have 150 left. And then you buy it, and you look at your account like, oh shit, I only have 150 left, and that could have been it. That could have been if we spent 70 billion
Yeah,
on this ABK deal. Oh shit, the money's out of our account. Damn, that's a lot. We got to get this back. When
a
you're
lot of money.
speculating and thinking about how you're gonna spend it, it doesn't. Sometimes reality doesn't hit. And these people, as we've established, are not the smartest business people at all. Because if we know them as stealing shit, right? They steal ideas. They don't create shit. But they're not smart
Mm.
enough to steal the mistakes that PlayStation has made, especially during the PS3 era, and say, let's not do that. And they keep doing the same shit over and over again.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. That frustrates me a lot because that's the one thing that PlayStation proved going from the 3 to the PlayStation
Yeah.
4 was that they said we got to focus on the devs, not just on our technology chip and go, that made it difficult for people to develop for.
Hmm.
We need to make something that the devs want to build for. We need to embrace the indie scene, and they made it look like they learned their lesson and learn from that. And that's where I found the frustration when they announced the One X. And I was like, Phil Spencer got laughed off the stage when he went on there and announced the Xbox One at $500. He made the smirk. They booed him, and I was like, no way is that dude going to go up there and say $500 for a One X. He's going to lowball it, $400, say, Sony, smack your ass. We're coming now with the Xbox most powerful One X. Take that to your pro and $400. Here we go. And that guy went on there and did 500 again. I'm like, did you not learn your lesson? People don't want to hear $500 on stage for this. They don't. They especially coming off the worst E3 ever, quote unquote, that you had, and it was screen capped and recorded 500 US dollars, and people like with the camera in the box, like, how could you do it again? And he did it again, and they haven't shown that they learned from their mistakes, and I think that's another frustrating thing. Like, because you would think they gotta
Hmm.
kind of like, and exactly, and you know what? It goes with the games too. Like, you said in 2019 that you're gonna see Xbox meets quality. How the hell do you then later that year show Craig and then delay Halo and launch Halo the way it is? After you just said that you want quality to be for Xbox, just like he said with Redfall when he took it on the chin last year. Well, we're going to launch games with quality. And meanwhile, what he lied about, they lied about Forza ray tracing. Forza launches in that state. Like, they don't ship 60 frames on the console for Starfield. Billions of loading screens, like, that people are like, this is not the exploration I wanted. Like, you just said it 3 months ago that you ensuring quality and Redfall slipped through the cracks. Like,
Dude, Microsoft just
they
reminds me of
lied.
a get quick rich scheme. And I think this is what they're doing. They're just taking shortcuts, as many shortcuts
They
as they
lied,
possibly
dude. Yeah.
can. But if they would have taken the long way from the beginning, they would have been at PlayStation success right now. They would have been a real competitor. But every time they take a shortcut, it brings them back and back. So it's doing the opposite
Yeah.
of they want to achieve. Dude, just sit the fuck down and make a quality game from start to finish. Don't look to buy a publisher. Don't look to buy ideas. Get your fucking overpaid fucking developers in there. You're not developers, but project managers and project leads and directors, and have their ass come up with an original idea and go back and forth, brainstorm, and put the shit to production. It's pretty fucking
Mm-hmm.
simple, man. Sorry for all the cursing,
It's
but
not like they didn't
sheesh.
do it. It's not like they haven't done it before. Like, it seems
No,
like they
they
know what a
have.
game is, right?
Yes.
That's
And
the
they
most
have
frustrating thing.
PlayStation and Nintendo as an example. Like they
Yep.
obviously see what's selling. I'm playing Gears right
Exactly,
now as we're
dude.
talking. This is a movie game. This is a
I,
narrative driven story game with badass combat.
Dude,
What's
I'm
so hard
telling you,
about that?
that Gears DLC was really good. I enjoyed
Oh
that.
fuck yeah. Real
That was
good.
really good.
But they know they already done it. I mean, the
So
numbers speak for themselves. Look how many of the Gears and Halos they've sold, and look how many of the Gears and Halo they sold after they took over. Come on.
I
so
know.
here's what they need to do, and I'm going to lay it out. And I think Xbox fans would be okay with this. I actually think it would help bolster their fan base. It would probably bring in new fans. So we have two great stories from last year with um, Sega at the end of the year, going back through their catalog. You know, they released a decent game in Sonic Frontiers, did well, sold well enough. They were still supporting it for a while after release. I think they're still supporting the game, doing updates on it, and they are planning on doing another one. Cool. Sega gained a little bit of popularity with the Sonic movies. After they did that,
Oh,
now
good
what
movies.
are they doing? They were great movies. After they did that, what are they doing now at Sega? They are finding all their old IPs, all the things that people are nostalgic about, and redoing them, giving them a fresh coat of paint and sending them out the door. That's going to
People
bolster
ask for
more
long
stuff.
enough.
They're doing right. They're doing Personas. They are doing or they just did a Sonic game, Sonic Legends or Sonic whatever it was. And they're also doing a lot of their old IPs. We also saw another company in THQ Nordic come back to life by doing niche things that they've worked on before in the past, like some strategy games. They've come back in with some more indie kind of titles. We also saw a resurgence of Capcom over the past couple years. Why? Dumping things into quality, releasing great games of old franchises. Like, that is what Microsoft needs to do. So that's actually, I kind of disagree with you, Will. They don't need to get in there and figure out a new IP.
Thrifty. The only way what you said will work is if they port it to the PlayStation and Nintendo. Because
No,
they
no, no,
have
no.
Game Pass. Their people are not going to buy this shit again.
No, no,
They
no.
expect
I'm
it to
talking
be on
about a
Game Pass.
new. I'm
No,
talking
I
about a
know that.
continuation
I know
of.
that, but their people are not going to buy it. So all that money they're going to spend, redoing these games, they're not going to get their money back because they're going to be put on Game Pass. The only way this will become successful is if they do exactly what you're saying, which I agree, but they have to do third-party version of it. That's the only way they're going to make money off that. Because what are they going to do? Put it on sale for their quote-unquote 30 million GameStop subscribers who already pay their $16 a month? They're not going to get anything additional than what they're already getting, except more expense. That's why that wouldn't work for the company itself, if unless they put it third party.
But if Phil Spencer can go in there to the boardroom and sell his ass off, which we know he can, that is one thing that guy is good at, is selling. If he can go in there
Selling
and
bullshit.
Selling
right,
bullshit,
and so if he
absolutely.
sells that same bullshit to them, hey guys, let us
He's
make a
been,
Gear
dude.
6.
I think he's
Let us
been.
make
He's
another
done. They're
Halo.
doing
Bullshit
that.
caught up with him.
We'll stop it.
Hmm
Let us do that. Let us do another. What's another franchise of theirs?
Oh yeah,
That
but like, see, the problem is that he's bullshitting because he has no leg to stand on because he can't say, well, look how good we did with Battletoads. Oh
Yeah.
shit. Dude, they
that
have
was
online. He made Dahlia Studios. Like, oh, Dahlia.
that
That's
was
what they
one
made.
game that I was kind of sad I didn't get
Bring
because I
back
loved
Battletoads. No
Battletoads.
online.
Yeah,
Looks like a goddamn Saturday morning flash game.
dude, it
That
was
was
so
Battletoads.
bad.
It
And
was
I heard
horrible.
a new Battletoads was coming, and I was so excited. And then I saw it, and I was like,
Dahlia
"Oh,
Studios.
why did you do this to the Battletoads? Like, especially when we have
What
Streets of
about
Rage."
Voodoo Vince, dude? Voodoo Vince. He brought it back. Did he give you a sequel? No, he just made the 1080p version of Voodoo Vince. I interviewed the Voodoo Vince guy. I said, "What were you doing for 10 years?" He goes, "I was making avatars." I was like, "Holy shit!"
Making
Phil dug him up.
avatars.
Yeah, man, he was working with Rare on avatars. That's what he said.
Oh my, avatars for
I'm
what
like,
at Rare?
when they were doing that stuff for the 360, because he's like,
Oh, okay.
so I was playing, uh, Voodoo Vince at PAX East, and the guy standing next to me who gave me the controller goes, "Oh, I made him. I'm the creator of it." I'm like, "Whoa!" Like, and without thinking, I wish I recorded this. Without thinking, I was just like, "Well, what have you been doing for 10 years? Like, where's the sequel? Like, what have you been doing?" And he goes, "Oh, I was on other little projects here and stuff. I did a lot of stuff with the avatars for the last couple." Because I was like, he's the guy who made Voodoo Vince. That game, when I talked to him, it was like 12 years ago. Like at the time, it was like 15 years ago. I'm like, "Yo, what have you been doing?" like,
I
Well,
got
you know what's
stuck in the
funny about
boiler
what Jez
room.
is saying?
he got stuck
Eh,
in the void. He got
I
stuck in the void.
I don't know where I read this, but I read it recently because I've been playing Gears, so I've been looking into the lore and all this crap. And the most hated Gears game, besides the new ones, is Gears Judgment. Well,
Judgment made
one of
by
the reasons Judgment was
We
hated
Can
because they switched
Fly.
up the controls, right?
No,
And
People Can Fly made it. The
and
people
people
that
can fly.
made
Well,
that's who made it.
and the same guy who made the decision to switch the control, he failed upwards because then he was in charge, or not in charge, but he got promoted to go do Halo Infinite. That just shows your backward ass thinking over at Microsoft. Hey, the fans hate this fucking game. This is one of the reasons why, out of all the reasons. So therefore, go make Halo.
That was a warning sign for me. Gears Judgment was a
Boom.
warning sign because they turned it into like an arcade game. They made it. The
Yeah.
story was good, but they made it into segments of like skills for kills type thing, where they pulled over from not Bulletstorm. What the hell is that game that's coming out?
Bulletstorm. You're right.
They pulled from that kind of arcade because that's what they made prior to that. They pulled from that kind of thing. So it was like combos and things like that, and they made it kind of like you get a score in a certain area. It wasn't like formatted similar to what the other Gears were. Story was good. It was a prequel, but that was a warning sign because that came out near the end of the 360 when they were pushing Kinect, and Judgment came out, and I was like, oh, what's this? And then that's when I got a PS3 around that time, but then I went back to Xbox One because they had great games at launch. Like the PlayStation had tons of indies. It was all indie stuff. It was Contrast and Stardust HD, and I'm like, and then when I saw Rise and I saw the Titanfall, I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting an Xbox again. And then that's where I stayed. But then they did pull the Okie Dokie in 2016 when they kind of canceled everything. But
when they stopped.
when they just stopped, yeah. I remember 2016. It was like, yep, we stopped. It's like,
we're not doing anything.
Phil said he still has to make up for we're still waiting Phil to make up for Scalebound, right? He said he'll make up. He told everybody on Twitter that he'll make up for it.
So
we're still
guys,
waiting.
Let's recap real quick. PlayStation has come
Contrast from We Happy Few, yeah.
Yeah. PlayStation has come out and basically did the thing that everybody was getting onto them for. They gave us release dates. Cool. Thank you. Done. I'm satisfied. I have my release dates. I don't want to think past the next 6 months anyways, so I got it. I'm good. Xbox comes out, says two separate things from two separate people, and Phil has to go on a little mini tour and then decides, nope, that's not going to work. So he stops talking for once. And now the mouthpieces are sitting there saying, no, yeah, these games are probably coming. I have some sources inside there that are saying they're coming. We're not trying to spin this. We can't spin it. There is no more hold the line. The line has disappeared. The war is over. It never started. Y'all have a problem. Y'all are delusional.
Holding the unemployment line.
hold. No, that's the other thing. People, and what Nate said earlier, I want to reiterate. I have never once said I want Xbox to disappear. I have presented facts and told you I believe Xbox is disappearing because of X, Y, and Z. And all this is doing is feeding one more block, one more brick onto this house that we've been building. And not we, sorry, this house that they've been building. And every time we lay a brick, we see Xbox fans outside screaming at us, yelling at us, saying, no, that's not true. Y'all are ridiculous. I can't believe you would say that. That's not actually happening. Except this time. And this time now they're starting to pick up bricks and go, okay, yeah, here, let me help you. Let me let me tell you how right you actually are. Because this shit's been in the works for a year now. We all knew about it. We didn't say anything, just like we didn't say anything for Redfall, just like we didn't say anything for Starfield. We all knew. We all lied about Forza. We all knew. We all knew this was coming. And we just couldn't say anything. And now they're saying stuff. And now we can see that Xbox is not a console manufacturer. They will end up being a full-on third-party publisher with, at most, a cloud gaming device for their next system. Which, speaking of that, Will said something earlier that all Xbox does is steal. There was an article put up in the Discord. Oh, crud. Last week, I remember saving it because I didn't do a show last week and I wanted to kind of hit on it this week. But then all this other stuff broke. Xbox is now filing a patent, or there's a rumor that they filed a patent for a basically PlayStation Portal type device where you'll be able to screen share, you'll be able to do all that. Might have cloud gaming, might not. And the mock photo of it looks just like a PS Portal, except with an Xbox controller. And if this is true, which I have no doubt it is, because Xbox is good at two things. One, being late to the party, and two, fucking the party up. And so, like, they are late
And they're
to
not
this
good at
now,
making a toast.
and they're not even good at that. They're like that
Nope, can't
awkward
make
brother
toast.
that the two other brothers, who have, like, jobs and families. They're looking at the other one over there in the corner who looks like Doofy from Scream, and you're like, wait. How did he get in here? I thought he couldn't come to family functions anymore. Like, yeah, he kind of owns the place. He has to be here. And so, like, that's what it
Oh,
feels
man.
like is happening. And they don't generate their own ideas. What about controller clothing? What about toasters with extra long slats? Oh, I'm sorry, an extra long opening. Just one. Just one. Not two, because what normal human being has two pieces of toast in the morning? None. None. So now we get toasters, we get refrigerators. I'm pretty sure they're going to work on giving
I
us
think
a
it's
frying
wild,
pan.
dude.
Dude, dude,
It
burns
is
Oh,
the-
don't
wild,
forget
like-
chocolate. Don't forget chocolate. They did the chocolate with a
And
Hershey's
makeup. They got the makeup.
Rockstar drinks.
everything but
The
fucking
dolls. They're the American. Remember the American
Oh,
Xbox
remember
dolls?
the jackets for the controller, the sleeves
Oh,
for the
the ball
controller?
huggers.
Oh,
Yeah, the ball huggers.
Remember the special
Oh.
edition wrap
Uh,
for the Xbox for Starfield? The special edition jacket you
Oh,
could
the
put on
condom,
your
yeah.
Xbox?
The condoms,
Yeah,
yeah.
the condom, yeah. Like,
They haven't seen those? I haven't even seen those in stores at all. I guess you gotta order.
Starfield one is sold out. You can only get like the generic colors.
Oh,
They have two
Wait,
other
the
colors.
Starfield
Like,
condom is a wrap. The
yeah,
Starfield
yeah,
wrap?
yeah, yeah.
It's a
sold
wrap.
out. The only thing
It's
you
a
can get,
it's a wrap.
they have like this blue, kind of like PlayStation has the what do you call those? Outer space colors, the cosmic. It kind of looks like that, but uglier, and it comes in like blue, and you can get another one that's like I don't know, red. But there's two options. But yeah, those are the only two that are available. But just like anything, I mean, these guys will buy controllers, but won't buy games, because they expect it on Game Pass.
Twisted Sin just said apparently the PS did a toaster about 10 years ago, so Xbox is copying again.
Man. No.
But the problem is,
PlayStation didn't even do a George Foreman grill, even though everybody said it looked like one. The PlayStation 3
Oh,
was
that
the
was
Foreman grill.
no,
It
that
did
was
look like a
Mr.
George
Grind
Foreman.
on YouTube who took an old PS4 and then redid it so he can make a grill. It was just like a funny thing, but people
Oh,
were taking
man.
it serious.
shit.
Yeah, Mr.
I
Grind
know,
on
and
YouTube.
that was, what's funny is that's how the Xbox refrigerator started. It was just a
Yeah.
meme, and they won Skittles, and Greenberg's like, if we beat Skittles, I will make on Twitter for some whatever the hell they were beating them in, I'll make a refrigerator. I was like, oh Jesus.
Everything
like-
but games, I tell you.
It
But we're
beats. It
getting-
wasn't
they
for
have-
a game. It was they beat Skittles on Twitter. That's how the Xbox refrigerator happened.
Right, and I don't like applying real world human traits to a company. That's most of the time ridiculous. But they act like children. They really do. They really do act like children in every form of the word. And the problem is you have two adults in Satya Nadella and Tim Stewart who are sitting there going, no, this is actually what we're doing. And then you have the children in Matt Booty and Phil Spencer going, no, guys, this is what we're doing. This is what I get to do. Daddy told me I get to do this. And
Daddy,
so
give me a
I'm going to
checkbook.
do this. But that's also what I was going to say. Will, earlier you mentioned that they couldn't do what I had said about like making these other games because they have to make them now because they need the sales. Like they can't wait any longer or they're going to be out of it. The only reason I kind of push back on that is because they do have the infinite money of Microsoft behind them. So
Yeah, but that's only gonna go so. I mean, Microsoft is tired of paying for
That
Xbox
infinite
Plus
money, I
without
think we've
nothing.
seen the fruits of that labor. Like
Yeah, that's not.
they canceled so many things, dude. They like, yeah. Nah, that infinite money thing. I don't know. Like people like to say that, but trust me, they've canceled so many projects. They bought whole ass phone companies, and they canceled HoloLens after HoloLens 2. Like they cancel stuff, so it's not infinite money if things not working, and that's their MO. I've always said that's how I I saw the writing on the wall after I got Surface tablets. I saw with the Windows phone I had, the same story. We'll get the devs. Trust me, we'll get the devs. The apps are coming. The apps are coming. Oh, we're done with Windows phone. It's like, oh damn, I was waiting.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, I would love for them to do that, but for them, business-wise, it would only work out if they're able to sell it to PlayStation and Nintendo because their own. We know this. It is proven that Xbox gamers do not buy their games because they expect it on Game Pass. And look, we can't blame them. This is Phil's doing. He's the one that said games will be on Xbox day and date. He's the one that sacrificed the millions of and billions of dollars that you earn by selling these games by putting it in a service like Game Pass. So he's got nobody to blame but himself. They have dug themselves into a very deep hole. They tried something, it didn't work out. Instead of taking that 70 billion, they could have taken 10 billion and produced 10, 15 games of high quality or remade the games and been more successful at that than just now taking the 5% cut from, Call of Duty and the 70% from, or, the 5% from themselves for Call of Duty and PlayStation to 70%. But it just, anything they do, even if they drop a banger of a game, it's too late for them. They need to have years, consecutive years of banger games of a great platform in order to even get a chance to earn half of what it could have at full force. It's over for them. I just don't see it. The gamer is much more smarter. The gamer now spends their money way more wisely. Our economy is not doing so good, so it's getting harder to take that money from gamers. Xbox is they're done, man. Especially with everything that they have been doing with their purchases and their promises to the gamers, they haven't forgot. I mean, you can go on Twitter right now and see all the broken promises that Xbox has done over the last 10 years that they're still waiting for, and for real think that Phil Spencer is going to come through one day and fulfill some of these things. They're lying to themselves. That's why this is hitting them so hard, because all the accumulation, all that anger that they should have been expressing from the get-go, like how you guys try to shit on me for saying that the paywall of multiplayer is a me problem because we should have done it 10 years ago when it first got brought up. Well, that's what we should be doing to the Xbox gamers because they're the ones who let it pile up, and now it's way too fucking late for them.
Yeah, but the other problem is that it's not even that they let it pile up, because I do agree with that, but it's also that they've not only let it piled up, but they completely tried to spin it. Like
Yeah, they protected
it,
them. It's like this. What do they call
it's
that?
not the
When you
gamer
get
who
abused and
goes
then you fall in love with your abuser? Stockholm
Stockholm
syndrome?
syndrome. Yep,
That's what they are.
yep. That was actually one of my favorite takes that that I've had, is relating them to a abuse victim
Yeah.
that constantly gets beat up but constantly comes back and makes excuses for it. That's what it feels like. And at this point, it's just being proven more and more. Like, I don't take domestic violence as a joke or anything, but like, that is what this is in in relation to a consumer versus a company. Like, this is a consumer literally who has almost been brainwashed to think these things because the mouthpieces, the trusted sources for those for that company, the trusted outlets, which I say trusted outlets as, and I'm talking about YouTubers, I'm talking about your guys on Twitter,
Hmm.
I'm talking about those people because that's who, when a person my age, 35, 36, 37, when we go to buy a product, we don't look at CNET most of the time. We look at hands-on reviews from people on YouTube. I want to see them open the box. I want to see them put it up. I want to see them put it together. I want to see how it looks. I want to hear about what kind of issues they struggled with. What are some of its downfalls? I don't want to hear some massive company tell me that this product is good. I want to see. That's why when you opened up your portal, or was it the portal that you? Well, you did both the
The
portal
earbuds.
and the
And the
Spider-Man.
earbuds.
Yeah, and you also did the
Yeah.
Spider-Man
Oh,
controller.
Spider-Man controller. Yeah.
And like we got to talk, like you were talking about it, and in the chat we were all kind of talking about how we liked the controller better than the plates, and like, but you had your hands on it, and you were
Mm-hmm.
telling us exactly what you thought. That to me is where Xbox has the biggest problem. Because instead of these people sitting there and putting the feet to the fire and calling it like it is, like when The Last of Us released the port on PC, or I'm sorry, when Naughty Dog released the port on PC and it was dog crap, no PlayStation channel that I saw, no PlayStation leaning channel that I saw, none of us tried to say that the game looked good or tried to make an excuse for it.
And dude, the super sad part about all that, and you're absolutely right. They basically these YouTubers and these fake gaming journalists, they all sold out the Xbox gamer for the free perks, man, for the free console they
Mm.
got, for the free Game
Ooh,
Pass,
for
for just the
rooftop
most
parties.
minor, for the minor
Mm.
shit. And you know what? We see this
Allegedly.
all the time. No, it's a fact. It's been proven. They have said it themselves.
Dude,
Oh,
how
I
many
got like six
Xboxes they
Xbox in
send
my
out to people?
garage.
Dude, remember
Come
they sent them
on.
out to every. How many people got
Yeah.
free Xbox One Series X's? Remember they sent them out to like
Dude,
everybody.
YouTubers with 30, 40,000 subscribers were getting Series S's and Series X's. And look, this
Yeah,
isn't
dude,
anything new.
tons.
It happens in everything in life. In politics,
Yeah, that's
happens
the way
all
it
the
is.
time. You wipe, what is it? Grease my palm, and they sell us out for the smallest amount of perks. And that's exactly what happened. And because people are so, that's another thing that really frustrated me with when I say that I bring it up again, the multiplayer paywall is because some people have honest critiques, right? But a lot of people are just like, "Oh, you're wrong," just because it's PlayStation. I'm against that too. We shouldn't blindly follow any corporation. We shouldn't blindly follow PlayStation just because they're doing well. No, we're gonna give them the credit when it's due. But when they do something we don't like, price increase on PS Plus, not
Yeah,
enough
as a
games on
bolt.
PS Plus Premium, not enough fucking plates on the PlayStation 5 console. Like, there's a lot of problems that they have. Generally, we say something. They never did none of that. They attack the PlayStation fan for the mistakes that the corporation does themselves. It's like the most assword ass mentality. They are attacking PlayStation gamers because Xbox themselves might do third party instead of exclusives.
And so that's the only thing that I'll draw the line where I'm like, it's not the casual console gamer's fault.
They don't
I
even know what's
don't put
happening.
it I don't put it on them. I don't put it on the kid or the teenager or even the adult that's like, dang, 150 bucks for a Series S? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna grab that. That's kind of cool. I can play some of the older games on it. I can play some of the newer stuff. No big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and get it. Or the parents who buy their kids the Series X or the Series S because it's what was available at Christmas time and they got it for them. And I'm not gonna blame them because it's not their fault. It's it's not. But I will, however, blame the people who want to sit there like your crap gamers of the world or your Colt Eastwoods or your Destins who are like, nah, this is what we're gonna say. We're gonna lie to everybody. So I was listening to a podcast today, and I actually somebody in the chat mentioned that sub services are dying, and Game Pass will be the first to go. But my wife and I went through like all the recurring payments, and we ended up cutting like $60 more out of our budget for things that we don't use, and or things that are just they did a price increase and now I don't want to keep paying for them, like YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium went up to about 20 bucks a month now. I'm not paying for that. It was 15. And so like I'm not paying an extra $60 a year for YouTube Premium, especially once I found out that most of the podcasts I listen to on YouTube are already uploaded on the podcast app on my phone. And so I was looking and I found this PlayStation podcast. At least I thought it was. I get on there and it's there's these three dudes that are talking. And one of them's name, I can remember it's Dustin. I can't remember the rest of it, but
Uh-oh.
basically it's a do you know the name of it, Jez?
No.
It's not triangle circle square or triangle squared or whatever that is, but it's oh crap. That's gonna bug the dog crap out of me. Anyways, I was listening to it and they were talking about all the other podcasts that their company does. And like that is a job at that point. That is not in it for the fans, trying to protect the players, anything like that. You are literally making it's just another channel. Sacred Symbols. There you go. Appreciate you,
Oh, them.
hero.
Oh, okay.
But Sacred Symbols
Yeah,
also
it is a
does.
business. Yeah, of course it
It's a
is.
business. And I realized that about an hour in when they started talking about their other shows and the Xbox show that they had, and I'm like,
That's what
wait,
Phil took it on the chin.
what?
How do you not know that one?
I, bro, because I
The infamous
haven't.
chin
Yeah,
taken.
Last Stand Media. Thank you.
Oh.
And so like I'm sitting here and I turned it off immediately. I was like, that's not what I want. I want unbiased coverage. I don't want people who are going to sit there and glad hand because they have this big, huge production company and they have to. I've said it before on the channel. There's only a few people that I follow that have over 50 to 60,000 subs. And most of them I started following when they had under 50,000 subs. And so it's it's super vital that the people who have a voice in the community, no matter how big it is or how small it is, I would say the smaller creators have a bigger impact overall than your larger creators. I fully believe that just because the larger creators you get more generalized content from, you don't get the hard hitting stuff. You don't get the
Dude, they're
45.
enablers. And
They're
that's
enabled,
why we're in
right?
the situation we're in now because they've been enabling the bullshit for so long that now it's self destruct. So what are they gonna do next? They're gonna look for the next thing they can fucking enable and self destruct. It's a dirty cycle and all for profitability. And who ends up losing at the end? We do.
Man, I'm telling you, and that's the other thing. I don't know. And Jez, I know you have a PC and an Xbox. Will, I know you have an Xbox. I'm not sure if you have a gaming PC, but I don't. And so the market for this is me. I'm the market. I'm in the market of who
I
would
don't
be
have a gaming
playing.
PC, bro.
Okay, cool. So I'm in
Yet.
the market of who would be playing these Xbox games. Who would be the target purchase audience for these Xbox titles. And I said this earlier, there's not a goddamn title that's come out that I'm really give a rat's rip about. Like, there's not. Bethesda games have never interested me. The only Bethesda game that I thought I liked was Fallout 3, and then I realized through the chat, through a few months back, they were like, no, that wasn't Bethesda. Oh, okay, never mind. I don't like Bethesda titles. Not a huge fan of them. No skin off my back. I don't like. I didn't like the multiplayer shooter stuff, so even Redfall was out for me. I don't like. I Let me rephrase that. Hi-Fi Rush, wonderful free game on Game Pass. I would never buy it. And so like that's the other problem is you can look at Game Pass and go, "Oh, that's a cool game for Game Pass." But then if it comes to me available for purchase, I'm not buying it. I don't care. I don't want to play these things. The closest I've come to wanting to play an Xbox game was Fable 2 back in the day. And it almost got me to buy because the hype around Fable was absolutely insane. But they don't have that anymore. And so Xbox is going the way of Sega. They've had a down year with a couple of their games. Console's not doing well. They're not releasing at a good cadence. And now they're going to become third party. The only question is, do they become third party this year? Do they become full third party next year? Do they announce their exit plan this year? Like, hey guys, this will be the last Xbox console. It's a cloud gaming device. It's going to link into this remote that we have. You can play it anywhere in your house. You can hook it up to any TV. You can take it on the road with you. Whatever.
I actually don't even think that's the question. I think the question is really is will Xbox be able to produce any good games that people want to buy and stay in business in general? Or are they going to be just a Game Pass fodder? Will they bring the price down to $5.99, like how Peacock was in the beginning when they started, or any of these other streaming companies? And another thing I think Xbox will end up doing in the next 5-10 years, they'll just be a straight up streaming company. I don't think they'll even
Yeah.
make games where you can physically
Oh.
buy or download. I think that will just be streaming a
Uh,
hundred percent.
uh. Jez, we got a little bit of
Yo,
time left. What do you think on that? Do you think that full streaming is the next logical play? Or do you think they're going to go more Sega, where they have a few down years after they let go of their console, and then try to come back with some of their old titles?
I, I definitely think that they are going to the they want to go to the cloud and go to the service stuff. I feel though the console space, they're just going to kind of leave that to go. Like I don't think they're going to say we're done with consoles, because I still have this thing where their cloud is built on consoles. If they stop making consoles, then they are basically going to create the Google Stadia effect, where they'll need to get developers to make games. See, they have done something very clever in the sense where if you make a game for Xbox, you're making a game for the cloud. There's no separate configurations, there's no separate stuff. The console, you make a game for the console, you make a game for the cloud. The thing is, though, is that if you start seeing the console space dry up so much that developers now are skipping the console, then it loses that strategy there that they don't have it for the cloud. But I think until they need that console to keep getting games made for it, because that's going to fund the cloud, because they're going to have a hard time if they go, we're done making consoles, but we're still going to put everything in the cloud. And now they got to get developers on board to make games for their cloud architecture and not the console, because right now the dev and then they're gonna have to need, like, cloud numbers and all this other stuff to kind of entice devs to say, well, we have this many cloud users, do you want to make a game for us? And now they're in another battle. Right now they're able to kill two birds with one stone, even though the cloud is really not there. And as much as people say that Microsoft has all this money with the cloud, we've seen this time and time again. They talk very early, they do things very soon, they cannot get the support, and they kill it off before it's able to get into the mainstream. We did it with voice, with Kinect. They've done it with, HoloLens. Now everybody's coming up with the AR reality. Meanwhile, Microsoft said we're done with it. They washed up all the headsets and everything. HoloLens is done. All the Windows support in 12, it's not going to use it. And meanwhile, Apple is going to release theirs, and Sony just showed theirs, and the Quest is doing what it's doing. So, like, I don't know, man. I really think that they talked cloud too early. I think cloud is still not where it needs to be for their vision. And I think the console sticks around for some time, but that's where they want to go. They want to do the Minecraft, the Office 365, to just set it and forget it. That's what they want to do. They want to just build the tools and say, you build that. They want to give you the tools and you build the house while we make the money, because we're supplying the tools.
They're
That's what they want to
lazy.
do.
They're lazy,
They're
man.
lazy. They are. And that's the thing. Like, they are. Steve Jobs said it the best. Like,
Hmm.
they don't want to show better. They just want to do what's good for them. And people don't know better until they're shown better. And the fact that Sony and Nintendo are able to show how good the console market is, like Phil said it. He says Sony makes it hard for us to be for us to be Xbox.
Yeah.
And the thing is he's right, because Sony and Nintendo show strength in the console market. Like, I would say we would be done, and Microsoft's vision would probably be the way if console sales were dipping across the board, but they are selling bigger and better than last generation. It keeps growing. The console market is growing. It may be smaller compared to mobile games, but you cannot say that the console market is stagnant and dropping because it's selling, and the PlayStation 5 is selling more than the PlayStation 4. The Switch is still selling, and the Switch 2 will sell. And and you wouldn't, and if PC gaming was it, look at all these little Windows computer things. They're basically trying to consoleify PC gaming in a portable handheld. Try to get rid of all that the tropes of PC gaming and trying to make it the Steam Deck. That consoleifies PC. It's making a simplistic overlay. Like that Steam Deck is incredible because it takes it's very simplistic for what it does, because it just boots up the game, does it. It's a standard configuration. Like it's still a console. So that console market is still a viable market. And the fact that Microsoft is third, fourth, or whatever the hell they are in it, and they can't get back into it, I don't know, man. It's crazy. But the competition's doing fine, and I think the way Microsoft has just planned on doing it, another pivot, dude, is that they are going to just say, hey, can't beat them, join them. Let that market thrive, and we'll just put our games in that market because we cannot ignore the console market. We are very small in it. Our competitors have dominated in it. Let's do it. Same thing goes for iPads. Microsoft, with all their touch tablets and touch this and touch that, what did they do? You know what? Office, just put it on an iPad. We're never going to beat an iPad. You know what I mean? We're never going to make a Windows iPad. They got that market down. Just take Office, and just put it on an iPad. We can't beat them. Join them. And I think that's the strategy possibly with these games, if these rumors are true.
And to be fair, the taking those laptops that they have or those tablets that they have and transferring them from desktop mode to tablet mode is a pain in the ass.
Horrible.
And they go back. It's not good. It's not good.
Look what they did. Remember, the start screen used to be like a touch interface, and then it would do it. And you see what they did with Windows 10 and 11. They just basically went to a traditional Windows, and but they made the buttons a little bit bigger when it's in touch mode. But they don't have like a whole touch interface and stuff like that. Like that's the problem using these little portable PCs, that they're little portable tablets, but Windows is not made for all the touching and the touch screen. Like it works, but it's no experience like an Android or iPad.
No, and
and they stopped it. Remember, they stopped iterating it. They said we're done.
It's not intuitive. That's the problem.
No, it's
very
not.
Clunky. And like
more with less. That's right, Josh.
It would get stuck in like certain. It would get stuck in one mode or the other, and like you would have to literally unfold it, close it back, and then reopen it all the way, and then it would finally reset itself. It's such a piece of shit. And so guys, we've talked a lot about fuck it. I gotta kill this tonight. We've talked a lot. I always like to leave y'all with something thrifty, and thankfully PlayStation released their lineup for games this month on Plus or Extra and Premium. And so I want to leave y'all with that. We got Tiny Tina Wonderland, Resident Evil 2, Hard Space Shipbreaker, Lego City Undercover, Just Cause 3, which has been free or $1, so don't really get too excited about that one.
Just Cause 3 is a good game, though.
Dude,
I
but it's on sale regularly for $2.99. Like, and then for the classics, I'm sorry, we also got Vampire Swan Song and Surviving the Aftermath. And then for the classics, we got Rallycross, which is actually a really fun game on the PS1. We got Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. We got the 30th anniversary collection of Street Fighter, which comes with 12 Street Fighter titles, all the way from Street Fighter 1 all the way through the Street Fighter Alpha series, which is really awesome. I cannot wait to grab that and play some Street Fighter 2. That sounds super fun. We have Legend of Mana and Secret of Mana. So overall, I'd say that they knocked it out of the park. There's a lot of games on there that I've thought about getting, thought about trying, like Tiny Tina's Wonderland, because I know it has kind of a D&D-esque type theme to it. So those games are coming out. You can get them on the 16th. If you already pay for the service, they're in there. I'm not telling you to go out and sign up for the service. That is totally up to you. But if you pay for it, they're there. Also, for the next few days, I believe, for the next few days, the Thrifty Game of the Month is Katana Kami. It is a very much an indie game. Has some Returnal-esque elements to it, which I really find cool. Came out in 2021, and so like it has kind of that roguelike feel, but the combat is not near as hard as your normal roguelikes. Like you can actually complete a dungeon, and so it's really fun. And that's a game that at the end of the month I will do, or I'm sorry, at the end of the sale I will go ahead and no month, sorry, the end of the month I'll go ahead and do a review on it as kind of a community game. I'll always try to pick one that's either free or on sale for $5 or under, because I find a lot of gems that way within the PS Store. So, anyways, Innate had to leave. He said he would like to come back next week, and so we will probably have him on again next week. You can check him out on Twitter at TheRealInnate. And Jez, appreciate you for stopping by.
Hey, thanks for the invite, man. I just beat the guy in Final Fantasy VII as we're ending this thing. Oh man, thank God.
Wait, whoa.
Right before Sephiroth, that tank. Oh my God, that tank was driving me crazy.
Is this the remake?
Final Fantasy VII remake, yeah.
The remake. Okay, is this your first time?
Just beat the tank, yeah. No, I played it before, yeah.
Oh, okay,
God,
so this isn't your first playthrough. Got it.
No, that tank, dude.
I was about to
get
really freaking excited for you because that's literally one of my favorite games and one of my favorite.
It's incredible, dude. Oh my God, it's incredible.
Will tells me that
I'm hyping myself up for the second one.
Bro, that son of a bitch is already pre-ordered. Look at the countdown.
They did such a good job with this game. Like, because what's crazy is I dropped it because it came out, like I played it and then I played it through and then I dropped it for a while and then I went back. But man, they did such a good job with this freaking game. I can't wait for the second one.
Hey, speaking of doing good jobs with games, one of the cool things is that if we're going to be getting games a year, 6 months, whatever, after Xbox gets them for their exclusive titles, quote unquote, what's really cool about that is we'll get the better version of the game than they did. Just remember that, fellas. Where can people find you?
Oh man, Will 777.
Phil Ness tank. Dude, I don't know when this tank is, but man, I just beat it right when you say goodbye. Sorry, what'd you say? I was just reading the chat.
So, Will, where can people find you?
Will 777JP, man. Find me on Twitter.
Heck yes. So guys, I appreciate. Well, they want it to sell, no shit, and they can't give us that trash.
One thing, Thrifty, I want to ask you a question. So, looking at those the PlayStation Pluses, I noticed, I was like, yo, they are using PlayStation 4 in the classics. Where are the PlayStation 1 and 2s and PS? Like, why are they using PS4 games in the classics section?
So it's from what I understand.
PS4 games.
So from what I understand,
PS2 games as PS4. I saw that.
So here's what doesn't make sense, okay? Because they could easily sit there and say, well, it's because it's a remake or a remaster, like Trials of Mana,
yes,
all the Street Fighter games, all of that.
Which I don't play Trials of Mana. Secret of Mana, my favorite.
Here's the problem. That would be okay, except you have Resident Evil 2 as part of Plus Extra. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Resident Evil 2 came out 20 years ago? 20.
Well, that's the
PS2?
remake, though, they put out there.
Right, but they've put other remakes behind Plus Premium before.
Classics. No, if you look at the classics, they're all PS4 games, and I think some of them are PS2 games made for PS4, which they did a couple of those last gen. But They're
or
calling
they're
them classics.
PS3 games that have been remastered for the
Master
PS4.
to PS4, exactly.
Yes.
That's kind of what they're doing. So, but they still haven't done like what they did with the original Resident Evil, what they've done with Ape Escape, where they've taken PS1 games and turned them into PS4, PS5 games. Some with trophies, some without. So they actually have games that they specifically did for classics that, like Ape Escape.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know what you mean. Like Buzz Lightyear, the
You,
Ape Escape games, the
yeah, those like
yeah.
those are not in this month. Instead, these are all just the
They're
PS4
all
ones.
remakes that already had a version available on PS4. I see what you're saying.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's hard to explain. Yes,
No, no,
exactly.
no. I got you. Yeah, no, that
So where
is
are the
the frustrating
classics?
thing because, and here's the problem though. I think what they're finding out is as much as the fan base screamed and cried, "Give us our classics, give us our old titles," we don't really want the old titles. We say we do, and there is
I played a
something.
lot of Twisted Metals though. It was fun to play Twisted Metal again.
Well, sure,
One and
but
two.
did you stick with it for more
No,
than a
I
few
played for like
days?
a week
Right. Exactly.
and watched the
And
show.
so and that's that's the downside, or not the downside. That's the problem is that as much as I say, "Hey, if you give me Tekken 3, I'll sit there and play that thing for hours." Yeah, I might over a weekend, but then I'm going to hop right back into a game that looks fresh, that looks new, that looks
Yeah, nostalgia,
inventive.
like Mooch says.
Right?
Nostalgia's a hell of a drug.
It's that nostalgia, and then once you get that hit, if it's not something that's sustainable or up to the level of what you're used to, you go away from it. Like there's a couple drinks that I really like from when I was a kid. A few months back, I went and got one because they sold them at the gas station. Those little those little like grenade punches.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I,
I've seen
I
those with
love
the
those things
foil
as
top.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I love those things as a kid. And this store had them for like 30 cents each. So I grabbed a couple, just two of them.
Tastes
And
horrible,
oh
man.
my God, they're so bad. They are
They're
so
so
bad.
bad. I used to love grape, and I tasted grape because they had it at a party. I was like, these things are horrible. They're made as grenades. You're supposed to throw them at people.
You're supposed to throw them at people, but they're so terrible. But nostalgia made me think, oh, this is cool. But no, it's not. And that's what I've come to realize. Like, I'm excited about Street Fighter because I want to play some Street Fighter 2. I'll get on there. I'll play a couple
Yo,
fights
Street
with
Fighter 2
Kenny.
anniversary though. I'm excited. I'm
Right.
glad about that.
Like,
Yeah.
it's super fun, but these aren't games that are going to keep me away from Ease 9 or from Final Fantasy 7 or like it's just not. And so I think what
hmm
PlayStation is realizing is that okay, we've listened to y'all, we gave you what you wanted. Y'all aren't playing the games that we've given you, and some of them have been really good. And so, you know what? We're going to have to focus on this other area. I think what they're gearing up for is the same thing I said last year. They're gearing up to figure out how to get PS3 games to work natively on the PS5.
But you just
They,
said that nobody wants those old games.
well, I
But
Why
think
would
they
they waste their
PS3
will.
time
games
with that?
don't look that
It don't
old.
look that bad. Like for I tried playing what fucking game? But like I've never really played a lot of PS3 games. I was in the military and I was in my early 20s, so I was like doing other stuff. But I would love to play Resistance and games like that I've never got to, but they're just so clunky and they look so outdated. So
Yeah,
if they can
that's
do
when they
something,
refuse to shoulder buttons.
yes. So if they can do something that gives it just a little spice up, I'll play it. Because I like with Nelson, me and Nelson have been playing Resident Evil 5 co-op, and the game kind of plays like shit a little bit, but it's
Oh
not
It's such a
man,
terrible
fun game.
to where
dude,
I
that
want to quit.
game, yo, the zombies shooting at you and everything. What the
Yeah,
hell is
I
no,
going on?
loved
yeah,
Resident
no,
Evil 5.
Info whack. It was wild.
yeah, no,
I
that's
loved it.
it's tough. But yeah, so if they can do a little spicing up, a little bit modern controls, I'll play it. But yeah, that old shit, like my son says, anything that's older than 2021, it's old. It looks old.
Yeah, like even seeing like you sit down with your kids and like, oh, my son doesn't want to look at that stuff. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, he's
this
like,
is
fuck
horrible looking. I'm
that.
like, no,
Yeah.
this is a fun game. Trust me. He's like, oh, that's horrible. I don't want to look at it.
Yeah, no, I don't want that.
Yeah, and that's why. So like, for my kid's birthday, we were gonna get a Mario Wonder, and
That
he
game's great.
decided. Well, yeah, I
It's hard
looked at it.
though.
I was like, oh, he's gonna love this.
It's,
And then I talked to a buddy of mine who just bought it for his kid, who's a couple years younger than mine, and he was like,
they don't
dude,
tolerate it.
it's hard.
It's hard, yeah.
It's
No way. I thought the
hard.
same thing. I was like,
And
yeah.
I was like, it's a
I wound
Mario
up
game.
playing it.
Like, how hard can it be? He goes, no, dude. This is this is Super Mario World or Super Mario 3 level of difficult. Like,
Dude, we beat those games when we
Yeah.
were 5 and 6 years old,
I
7, 8. I
know,
mean, my son
man.
beat it. My son beat Mario Wonders. He's
See,
7, and he
but you
loved
know
it.
the
He beat it twice.
yeah, the thing is though is that we didn't. I don't think we. Well, I know me growing up, like I got like maybe 1 or 2 games a year at Christmas
Yeah,
time, and I'll
true.
get one for a
yep.
report
True.
card. So like that's
True.
all you had. Like you had a lot of games, but like
Yeah,
you
true.
didn't have this like this like this access to
Dystopia of
every
games.
this you have tons. Like if you like, hey, I don't want to
Yeah.
play this right now. And it's not just if you buy a lot of games, but still, like I had a collection. I remember I had like my little cartridge set of like about 20 games, but still like that was it. And it's like if that's the new game, you're just playing it until you beat it, or you're not getting
Yeah,
another
there's
one for a
no.
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, if you get stuck on a
Literally,
level, there's nobody coming to save you. You figure the shit
no.
out. It could
No,
take you
remember
a
the
No.
day. It
Nintendo
could take you
Hotline?
weeks.
Dude, they
Oh
had a phone
yeah.
number you call up at 350 a
hmm
minute.
Yeah, we talked
That
about that
says
last week.
somebody. Imagine trying to explain to somebody of how you got stuck
Yeah.
on a level over a phone. It's like, yeah, so there's a blue box where I am on level 1-5. They're like, tell me more about it. Cha-ching, cha-ching. It's like three
Yep.
dollars a minute. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to get to the level. There's like a brick here. What brick is it? Like, you try to explain to somebody. The
Guys, I
Nintendo
haven't made
hotline.
it past. So I
Fucking
owned a game.
OnlyFans of the '90s.
I owned a game called
Dude,
Bad
wild.
Dudes.
Yes,
Bad
bad
Dudes
dudes.
was
I had bad dudes.
fantastic. I have never made it past the forest level. And I
Mhm.
owned that game, and it was the only game I had for a little bit outside of Mario Duck Hunt and Mario 3 and Tecmo Super Bowl. And so, like, I had four options. And so, like, but Bad Dudes,
That
I literally played the hell out of that game.
was a
And I
bootleg Double Dragon,
boot, dude. But it was with, yeah, it was the bootleg Double Dragon. Yeah.
but it was the same guys that they used in Super Volleyball. That was that company. Who was that? Who made
Oh, shoot.
those flathead guys?
Data East, I think. I think it's Data
It was
East.
Data East. They made it, and I love Super Dodgeball. I love that. That was like
But like
bad
those
dudes.
games, they didn't care because they
No,
most folks didn't have the entire collection of Nintendo games. They had
no.
4 or 5 games, maybe 10, and that's what you had. I know that at the end of it we had a pretty nice collection because like morons, we sold off that to get the Super Nintendo.
Yep, morons. Exactly. I wish I had all my
Morons.
stuff. Morons.
I
And you gotta think
wish
the
I go,
equivalent
you
of
know what,
a.
Thrifty? You go to those gaming conventions, you see the people. I'm like, I went to one of these gaming conventions, and I like all these people selling these retro stuff. And I'm walking with my son. I'm like, that's what my closet looked like. Everything this guy's
yeah.
selling for $20 a disc. I'm like, that's my. I had that. I had all this. The Super Scope. This thing. They're selling them right there. I'm like, you kidding me? I got rid of. Who did I sell that stuff to? I bet you everything got thrown away.
Who did I? And so like I've this
Sold to
the
that
play
guy. So back to me.
the PS5 is probably well no I'm gonna do the same thing with it but I'm not. The PS5 is one of the few consoles that I don't see myself ever not owning it. Like in other words, when the PS6 comes out,
You're gonna keep one.
I'll still probably keep my PS5 because
Yeah.
at that point my both of my boys will be older. It'll be good to give it to
Do you
them.
wish you kept the PS3?
Dude, I'm actually about to buy
I
a
sold it to a
PS3 from
guy
my
at
buddy.
friggin' Best Buy for $100. I wanted
So
to
did I.
punch. Dude, I
So
was
did
like,
I.
handed it to the Best Buy person, and the guy next to me was like, "Oh, I'll buy it for you for more than
And
them."
I
I'm
had
like,
the big, the big boy, the
"Oh,
original with the 80 gig.
oh,
Like
you're
I,
the one with
yeah,
the card? Oh,
yep.
damn."
I had that with the HD or the SIM card slot. Like I had it, and I sold it for $100, dude. I regret it every day. He's still
Yep.
my friend. He won't fucking sell it back to me. He's
He
like,
was
dude,
so
you
back to
fucked
you.
up.
Well, and
You
so
fucked
I
up. It's
sold
like,
my
damn.
buddy
$100.
has the whichever one came after the 160. I think it's not the fully slim one, but it's the one right after the big bubble one, and it only plays PS3 and PS1 games. And like that's totally fine for me because the only games that I can't really play that I actually want to play are a lot of those old PS3 games. And like those type of things where we can look and go, man, I can't believe I sold that stuff. I can't believe I did that. It's because those games, even though they kicked our ass, they're games that we absolutely loved. And Nintendo, better than Sony and way better than Xbox, has been able to innovate their games and innovate their IPs in
Mm-hmm.
such a way that it draws in new people and it retains the old people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I saw Mario Wonder and I was like, I get to be a fucking Mario elephant. I
So
I want
it
this
reminded
game.
me so much of Super Mario Bros. 3. So I played it like man, like cause I skipped a lot of those Mario like those like the ones that they ported from the DS and stuff like that. And
Yeah, I didn't play those
this
either.
one I skipped a lot of those ones and like this and even so much like the what was the other one that came out? It was the even Universe, like Universe 2 and stuff like that. Like I
Yeah.
this one reminded me so much of 3 that I actually beat. I played almost right to the end of this one. But I love that one. This is a wonder. I think it was great.
Oh man, it's
It did.
hey, I
I'm gonna drop a game. Let me see. I know you want to go, but let me. There's this game that I have that I played a ton of it, and I got this from KB Toys. It was an
oh
NES
shit.
game called. Let's see if anybody. We got these people in the chat. Let's see if they remember this game. Somebody has to. Ever hear of Low G Man?
Was it
G-Man?
like little green army
Wait,
soldiers?
no, no, no. It
It
was
was a
a
little.
it
It
was a
was a
blue
space game.
it was a
Oh
blue
no.
blue soldier, wasn't it?
A
A blue
blue
soldier with a
soldier
bubble on his head.
side-scrolling game. It was called Low G Man, and the thing is that he was a space guy. It was a blue guy. I remember. I don't know if he had
Yeah,
a bubble, but the
I could have
main
swore it was like a
draw of
big
this game
circle
is
for
that
a head.
you collect orbs, and he gets more power, and he could jump 3 screens high. So like you could basically the level was outside of the screen. So like if you got enough orbs, he could jump from like off the top of the screen into another screen and then another one. Like when he's super ramped up, it was called Low G Man or Super G Man or something like that.
Low
Low
gravity
G
man.
Man,
Yeah,
Low
low G
Gravity
man.
Man. There you go. That's it. Isn't it low?
Yep.
It's called Low Gravity Man, but they had the G. It was we used to call I used to call it Low G Man.
And it was a
Yep.
red dude with a bubble on his head.
It was I forgot. I remember it
Yeah.
was just a side scroll. I just remember that the whole crazy thing for me was that he could jump off the screen, like you could leap like off the screen through another screen to another screen, like 3 screens high, and that was like the pitch for that game.
What always killed me, which
But
would
man, I
not
remember that game.
fly.
I used to love that. It was flying. You just, but you
No,
gotta
no,
get the
no.
orbs, and then if you get hit, you lose it, and you can only jump like a little bit then.
No, remember when you put your Nintendo cartridge in and some of the games, even the Nintendo first party games, would have like at the very, very top of the screen, like an eighth of an inch or a quarter of an inch where the graphic was a bit distorted or like slanted one way versus the other. Does
What
anybody
on the
remember that?
cartridge
No,
or on
like
the
when like
screen?
on your TV screen.
Oh yes, at the bottom it'll be
At the
like
very
pixel
bottom or at the
shift, like a
very
pixel shift.
top, it was a pixel shift
Shift,
on
yeah.
every single. Nowadays, we would crucify a company for releasing a game like that. We get
Oh my
pissed
god.
off when a frame drops from 60 to 55. Like, we,
Oh my
we,
goodness.
we are such spoiled, rotten little brats now.
Pixel shift, dude. Yeah, I remember that. Blowing on the cartridge, all that flipping.
Dude, that's
Oh
the
my.
same
Turn my
reason why
PlayStation upside down.
I don't feel bad for these fucking developers because back then it would cost 500,000 to make Mario, and they would make a shit ton. And a video game cost because back then I remember buying Donkey Kong at Toys R Us for $80. Dude, like we
Mm.
said a couple weeks ago, the equivalent of 90s money, that's like $150 in today's
Yeah.
money.
Yo,
So they were
Super
making
Street Fighter.
hands over
It was
fist.
$80 for Super Nintendo back
Yeah.
then in the day.
Yeah.
So no, I don't feel bad for
Street
them.
Fighter 2.
They made a shit ton of fucking money, and now they're feeling guilty
And
because
Mortal
of
Kombat.
yeah, no, fuck that.
Dude, they're expensive. You know what? It was crazy. I'm gonna tell you. You talking about failed games? A failed game. I bought I think it was just called WrestleMania for the Xbox. It was the first like online WrestleMania, and the disc that they sent out was like it burnt incorrectly and the online didn't function. But I remember it was one of the first wrestlings that came to Xbox. It wasn't Raw, but it was called WrestleMania. I think it was called WrestleMania 17 or something like that. But it was a blue game. But I remember getting that game and that they said the disc was burnt incorrectly and that the online did not function, and you had to like send it back for like a refurbished disc, but it took forever. And this was like, I forget, this had to be, this was like early 2000s. I think it was 2007, but yeah, it was like one of the first games that actually had wrestling online. I think it was still being made by Acclaim back then. I think Acclaim was still making
Oh
it.
my God, Acclaim. Woo.
Acclaim made it.
That's a company that went up real high and then plummeted.
There used to be Acclaim Activision, right? Weren't they part of it? Like, wasn't
I think Activision bought Acclaim, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they did. Acclaim used to make horrible wrestling games. Oh my
Here's
God.
the funny part of all of this. We look at these studios that Xbox has acquired, or we look at these studios that are no more.
WrestleMania 21. Look at Josh Ayers. Yo, Josh Ayers, do you own, he knows facts like crazy, man.
He's producer Josh.
We call him our producer because anytime we need an
Josh,
answer,
you gotta get a podcast going, man. He knows WrestleMania 21. He says that's a lie. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember in my friggin' basement playing Final Fantasy. Sorry, Mr. Facts there. The online was not ready when the game was. Thank you very much. Josh Ayers, holy shit. Thank you very much, man. Don't do me like that.
Dude, he does it to me all the time. It's fine. It's fine.
Damn.
That's why we have him.
Josh does do his own podcast, man. He's like friggin' he knows all the facts.
So actually, speaking of, real quick before I get out of here, last week I was off and I did a lot of groundwork for the show. I had Nate lined up for tonight. I have next week. Oh, hang on. Let me pull this up because I have TCMF we're trying to get him back on. I have, damn it, man. Why can't I think of anybody's name when it's 11:45 at night? Why can't I think?
Holy crap, it's 12:40, man.
Yeah, bro.
Now I really feel old.
You only told me 2 people, dude. You didn't tell me anybody else.
Yeah, I sent it to. I sent you. Who was the second one?
Josh.
Josh. Yes. Okay. Josh.
That's right. Yeah, that's the reason why you mentioned it.
Duh. That's why I couldn't think about it. Lord help me.
Josh knows everything, man. You got to get him on.
So Josh.
Josh should get on the Grindhouse. I'm gonna get him on there too.
We have a plan for Josh to be here on the last Wednesday of January. I think it's the 28th. And so I'm super hoping that works. He's been a very, very vital and active member of this community almost since the very start. And so, really awesome to get him on. And then, like I said, TCMF, we're trying. He has a weird schedule, so 3 days before, I'll text him and see if he wants to come on.
Yeah, he mentioned it on Mooch's show on Friday that he was going on to your thing. Your podcast.
Did he really?
Yeah, I was on that on Friday, and he said that he was going with Thrifty.
That makes
sense. If you go back
sense.
to the Mooch's tapes on Friday, he said it.
Yeah, because we were talking about the Astro
about the end.
That's a channel that I need to start listening to because he does a podcast every week, and
Mooch just moved it to Thursdays now.
Thursdays, yep.
Oh, that's
Thursdays,
so
but
awesome.
that one was on Friday. But yeah, he mentioned it on Mooch's show.
That's so good because I ain't got nothing to listen to on Thursdays no more. So I'm free that night apparently, and so
wait. Well, I wasn't with Josh. Josh says I was actually watching a video on that wrestling game 2 weeks. Oh, really? Because it was the biggest issue. It was a huge issue, dude. Man, I remember that they put a thing in the there was a slip in the disc. A paper or something like that they were shipping with it, saying it wasn't ready. And they had I remember they had to reprint the disc. So I'm gonna have to look it up. But yeah, it was a fiasco. That WrestleMania 21. Oh man.
Guys,
thanks, Josh.
Y'all have a wonderful night. I just gotta cut it because if we keep going, we can talk about games
Yeah,
the
we'll
rest of
go.
the
We go
freaking
freaking all
night,
night.
man.
Oh man,
Like we're not even discussing topics anymore. We're just discussing games, like which is
dude, we should
awesome.
just
But
nostalgia. That's what it is about.
but we could do this for hours. Literally, I've done this for hours. And so we are going to go ahead and call it a night. Jez, you can find him at the Gaming Grindhouse. He already said that. Will, you can find him on Twitter at Will777JP. And as always, guys,